What's up, everyone, and welcome to No Ifs and/or Buts. We are talking about episode 11 today, the penultimate episode. I'm Alex Damon.
And I'm Molly Damon.
Did I catch you off guard with that? That I actually remembered this time? So do a little introduction.
I've done intros like this for Happy Hour on POV before, so I got there.
But you seemed shocked that I remembered to do it this time.
I was, even though we just talked about it.
We do have a guest coming, Jacob Fullerton from Funhaus. He's a mega Star Wars fan and just all around nice, great guy. He is on his way home from work right now, and he said he's probably going to be like 10 minutes from now. He'll be joining us. So we're just going to go ahead and start talking about the episode and everything, but also this gives us some time to just set up what the show is, because I feel like we always rush through to get to the guests and everything. We will be talking with Jacob for about an hour about the latest episode and about Andor in general. And then we will stay on for, it's been going like 2 to 3 hours after that to answer your questions in chat. If you want to go ahead and get your question into the queue, you can do that with a super chat, and then we will just go down the line and we'll talk all about this episode. I'm also going to throw out that if you are a member of the channel, a big super fan, I added some new emojis. And one of them, I just had to make B2 emo from this episode, so I threw that in there. So enjoy the new emojis. But I think that's all I have to say. Molly, did you have anything?
Just that Studio Ghibli tweeted another vague picture that everybody's messaging me about.
Right now. Right, they were like waiting for us to go live, and then they're
does that look like K2 to you?
Well, you just froze on my screen, probably because I'm I don't know what that looks like. I guess it could look like K2.
I don't know.
I'm looking at it now.
Anyways,
it's a weird like nature droid.
Yeah,
interesting. I don't know.
It says our connection's bad. So if we're choppy, sorry about that.
Hopefully that doesn't stick around. Yeah, we are acting a little choppy, but it's too late now. So
hold together, internet.
I know. Let's just, it looks choppy to us, but hopefully not anyone else. But whatever. Let's start talking about the episode, Molly.
Yeah.
What did you think about episode 11?
I liked it. I guess something very intense happened very quickly, and I was like, I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah.
Me too, being sad, rude. Just all of it was rude.
It was, yeah, rough to start off that way and to show it from B2's perspective. Like, I was terrified that something bad happened to B2. And then it was like, no, something else terrible happened. And now we have to watch B2 be distraught. That sucked.
Yeah. And like, I wasn't ready for Marva to be gone yet. Like, I thought she would go out with a fight, you know? So finding out that she passed away, like, early on in the episode, set up just the whole thing for, like, very intense emotions.
Yeah, the fact that it happened off screen was surprising to me. Just like you said, it's just not a very Star Warsy thing to die of old age. Yoda's like the only one that got to do that.
Yeah, everyone in the chat is very sad.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's been talking about how dog-like he is. B2 is very much like a loyal dog that lost its owner, and he's just sitting there next to her chair. It was fun and cute for the first few episodes, because yeah, he's like a loyal dog that's walking around and he can talk to you, but now seeing him like a sad loyal dog was rough.
Yeah.
And that I think the way you put it, it was like, I liked it. Like, it was a great episode, but it was really it may have been the roughest one just emotionally.
Yeah, it felt like kind of a punch to the gut. And when we watched it the second time, we saw it was Tony Gilroy who wrote and directed this one. We were like, he just wants to make us sad. right before he blows our socks off with whatever happens in the finale. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just excited that this episode kind of was a somber note, the calm before the storm that is inevitably going to happen on Ferrix.
Yeah. And I don't think we're done with Marva. Uh, like I'm still kind of hopeful that she's going to do something, or not obviously physically, but that she's going to inspire Cassian to really kick some ass and kind
Mm-hmm.
of finally be. I feel like the end of this episode was him being a rebel, like born. So I feel like he just needs one little tiny push
Mm-hmm.
from something, and maybe it is Marva's death, uh, especially since she wanted to be a rebel and she wanted that for him. That he's probably gonna do a lot of work in the next episode.
Yeah. I just had a thought of, so on Ferrix they talked about the funeral traditions where they have someone cremated and then put into a
Hmm.
brick, and then the brick gets put into a wall. I
Hmm.
feel like in the finale, because they said it was like a 2-day process, I feel like the finale is going to happen, and somewhere in the middle of that process, before her brick gets put into a wall, like all hell's going to break loose, and someone's going to throw that brick and do something crazy with it, and it's going to like open that dam, or
If they
I don't
turn her
know.
brick into a bomb or something, that was like her last will and testament. Like,
Yeah.
make me an
Or
explosive.
someone just punches Dedra with the brick.
That'd be interesting.
That would
I
be
just
a
liked.
little too violent, probably, but
I don't know, for Andor, maybe not, but I like that tradition that Ferrix has
mhm.
of letting people become literally, like Marva was a social pillar of the community that everyone liked, and now she gets to like literally be a pillar in the community or a wall or something, but part of the structure forever. I thought
Mhm.
that was really nice.
Yeah. I like the idea of her becoming an actual pillar of Ferrix.
Yeah. And there is a moment in the trailer that shows Salman Pack's son. I forget his name, but he throws something at the Empire and it explodes. I just assume it's a regular bomb, but it could be a brick bomb,
Brick
and he
bombs.
can
Bow,
he can yell that as he throws it.
bow.
10, thank you for the super chat. Brick Marva sends her regards.
Yeah. That would be awesome. I'm so excited to see everyone end up on Ferrix, because like Dedra's gonna be there. Cyril's headed there probably. Luthen's probably gonna head there too. And like, what's gonna happen?
Oh yeah, it's just going to be chaos. That's what I'm looking forward to. And that's what this episode did. It very much felt like episode 7, where we need to get from Aldani over to the prison arc. And so here's how we do that. And this felt like, okay, we just need to set up like one banger finale. So we're going to set up all these pieces and basically get everyone going back to Ferrix, except for Mon
Mhm.
Mothma. That's like I kind of feel bad that she's getting left out of that.
Yeah, she's got such a separated story in all of this. Like we saw her go to Luthen's shop a few times. She was in the Senate a few times. Otherwise, she's kind of like imprisoned in that condo of theirs.
Yeah, I'm interested in obviously the emotional climax, the political climax of what's she gonna do about her daughter. But it does seem just very separated away from everything else. And I do wonder if they're gonna find a way to tie that in.
Yeah. I have thoughts about the daughter situation.
Share them.
I feel like I may have shared it in the last live stream, but from the very beginning, Lita has been so all about the traditions. She wears the traditional Chandrilan garb. She has the traditional hairdo, and I've been thinking this whole time that like she's gonna want that arranged marriage, and it's gonna break Mon Mothma's heart. But
Th-
it seems like she might like it seems like Mon Mothma might actually go through with, was it Davos?
Davos Golden, yeah.
Davos Golden's proposal, which would be really sad. But
Well, yeah, I think Mothma knows that. And I think that's kind of why she is so struggling with, do I even make this introduction? Because it is a little bit of a cop out for her in that she doesn't have to force her daughter to do anything. But I think the fact that she knows that Lita would probably jump into it head first and be excited to do so,
mhm.
like that feels like a way for Mothma to do it guilt free. But she knows that long term, Lita probably won't be happy. Maybe she would be, but probably not. Like
And
I bet Mothma was even excited to get married when she was 15 and all that. And
yeah.
she just knows now where that road leads.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like Perrin used to be cool and just slowly descended into douchebaggery.
Sure.
It's a word. And I love that Vel, when they're having that little conversation in the hallway, Vel's like, "Is this Perrin's doing? Like, this
Hmm.
sounds like something Perrin would have gotten her into." And she's like, "No, that's all her."
Well, it's kind of like she and Perrin both changed their minds about all of the Chandrillan traditions. Like this one tradition probably ruined all of them, all the other traditions for them, because they're like, well, I guess Perrin still likes the worms in his drink, but for the most part, I think they have been turned off on the arranged marriage thing.
Yeah.
But I do wonder what Perrin would think about that if he is open to the arranged marriage for Lita.
I think so. Like, depending on if it's the right person. He's all about like, how do I stay in high society? How do I keep all of my
Mm,
juicy connections and fancy parties? So we don't know. Well, we do know that Davos Golden has met Perrin and they've
right.
like chatted a few times at parties and stuff. So I feel like Perrin's probably going to be psyched about this plan.
I could see that. I think he would be probably open to, well, oh, he's a thug, whatever. Like, I think they were probably buddy buddy.
Because he's probably got a ton of connections. I mean, it sounds like he deals in favors. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what did you think about I'm going to go ahead and just show off my drawing because I'm excited about it.
Okay.
uh, I drew something that I think a lot of people have been excited to see in Andor, a little something that's been missing, but a little bit of pulp. I think his name was, now I can't remember, Kiwi or Kiwi or something like that. I was
Uh-huh.
like so happy to get some really, really weird aliens. And this dude literally had knives for hands. And I was like, well, this is the pulpiest thing that Andor has done. So I wanted to draw that.
I forgot I had all these knives in my office.
Oh,
So now
God.
I
Yeah.
can...
Recreate my drawing.
Yeah, no, those dudes were really cool looking.
Johnny
Johnny
Knife
Knife
Hands.
Hands.
Everyone's just calling him Knife Hands.
Yeah. And the designs of them were so cool. We were talking about this earlier that they both looked kind of familiar. Maybe they were concept art from other projects. But when they showed up, it was just like, oh yeah, this is Star Wars. And there are these crazy looking alien species all over the place. But I was really happy to see that happen and to see that they were good people. Good.
Yeah.
They
I
were
mean, and
good.
this is Eric Bruno. Thank you for the super chat. Very relevant and perfect. That, yeah, they. I do like the look on one of their faces. It's just kind of like open mouth shock, and then they they catch them, and then they seem kind of dicey for a second, but they're like, nah, scob the Empire. We'll take you wherever you want to go. Like,
Mhm.
that was so fun.
Yeah, he kind of like had a little mini monologue about the Empire, and he was like, they're ruining our water and their prisons are messing everything up, and then yeah, he's like, where do you guys want to go? Like, let's go. And then I feel like they were pretty excited about going to Niamos because they needed a vacation.
Hmm. This is basically how I feel about the episode. I think that it was very much centered around community and the idea that the Empire wants to stop communities from happening. They want to cut down on communication. Uh, just like Zori Bliss said in episode 9, they win by making you think you're alone.
Hmm.
But the Empire makes communities because it gives like these very different people one thing in common, and it's that the Empire has hurt them. And so it's like, yeah, you need some help, I'll help you out. Like I love that their their attempts to try to stamp out community makes community. I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah. Also, what's up, Adagast? Uh, they were in the Rogue One prop room.
Yeah, uh the main one that did all the talking, the Mai Mai 2Z2. I loved how he talked too.
He reminded me
He,
of a Gungan.
yeah, he was made to be one of Saw Gerrera's partisans. I don't recall seeing him in the movie, but I think he was just a reused prop.
Yeah.
And I looked him up. He has a species. It was like Coretian or something. But then the
Hmm.
subtitles say they're speaking Narkinian. So maybe he's Coretian and Feedy. No, I can't remember his name, but the other one, maybe he was Narkinian. I don't know.
Or maybe like they were from somewhere else and they uh, live there now and they got their Narkinian passports.
Hmm.
So, like, our friends just became Canadians. They maybe became Narkinians.
Yeah. I wonder how immigration works in the Star Wars universe. That seems like something we
I don't
probably
know.
won't super
You
get
ha-
into.
you have a chain code. I know that, but that's
Yeah.
like for everywhere.
Do you think it's hard to move from planet to planet? It's probably hard to move to like Coruscant, but who knows?
Hmm.
Well, I don't really have anything else specific I wanted to talk about until Jacob gets here. So we can just dive into some super chats.
Do you want me to do my drawing?
Oh yeah. Well,
I feel like
whenever
we
it
should
came up.
wait for Jacob, but this has already come up, but I'll go ahead and show it. So here's my drawing. This is this happened at the sleepover between B2 and Brasso. We just missed it. It was right off screen, but yeah, I was like, can someone give this droid a hug?
I think Brasso is like MVP of the side characters in this series because he hasn't had a ton of screen time, but I love him to death. Like I knew by the end of the first arc, the when he tied down that one shuttle, I was like, that guy's awesome. But then you saw him sitting in the bar, kind of like reflecting on what he did. It's like I like him already. And then every time we see him, he's cooler and cooler. And the fact that he's spent the night in B2's, I guess is it B2's house now? Is it Cassian's? I don't know whose that is, but he's like, yeah, we can spend the night here.
Yeah. He doesn't want to leave. And he doesn't want to be alone. Makes sense.
That's something that I really liked the first 3 episodes and how they set up the people of Ferrix, the community of Ferrix. So I'm really glad we're going back there. But like Brasso, Salmon Pack, even though Salmon Pack barely did anything in the first 3 episodes, I just liked him.
Hmm.
Bix, everyone on Ferrix, Vetch. Can't wait to see Vetch again. I really hope he's in the finale.
Yeah. You mentioned Bix. She's not doing great.
Yeah, that was a rough image seeing her just like that's what that sound does to you. Like it physically alters you, not just mentally. And it was
Hmm.
really getting into her head mentally as well, of just like she is in rough shape.
Yeah. I mean, I hope and I assume that she can recover from this because I want her to take part in this big battle at Ferrix, but I'm not sure how she would get there in time. Or maybe they bring her. I don't know.
Sorry, who? I was looking at my phone because Jacob texted.
Bix. Like, do they bring
Oh,
her with them to Ferrix
I mean, she's
as
on
like,
Ferrix.
oh, they are on Ferrix.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
never
in the
mind.
hotel. Yeah. Yeah, they
I
didn't
was
take her to Coruscant or anything.
I was thinking she was at the
Okay, I
ISB.
was like, wait, who?
Never
No,
mind.
she's on Coruscant. Dedra's on Coruscant. Bix is on Ferrix.
Yeah.
Dedra's headed to Coruscant. God, now I can't keep all the planets straight.
Well,
Dedra's headed to Ferrix. Cassian's last name is Andor. I can keep these facts straight.
there's so many storylines in this show, and they're all like they've all been converging into one big one throughout the series. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
hard to keep track of, but
that was something in episode 8. It was 7 or 8, the first time that we got Cyril and Dedra in a scene together. I was like, yeah, it's happening. Like storylines are converging. And already that felt good, but episode 12 is like everyone is converging except for Mon Mothma. And I still kind of hope they find a way to bring her in. I don't know how, but I'd
into
like
like
that to happen.
literally into Ferrix.
I I don't know. I guess I was hoping that Cassian would have met her by the end of season 1. Like
That
just
feels
so
like
that
more of a season 2 thing.
I think that's likely now. I was just hoping that season 2 would be all right. Cassian is fully in the not official Rebel Alliance because that doesn't start for a couple more years, but like I do think he will be fully on board, fully a rebel. But it would have been cool if he were working alongside Mon Mothma.
Yeah. You mentioned this earlier about like Mon Mothma having another like one more scene in the Senate in the finale, and I keep wondering if we're going to have her do something big in the Senate, because so
Right.
far no one's been listening to her and I felt really bad.
Well, I don't know. There's nothing in the trailer that I can recall of her being back in the Senate, but I do want her to be able to do something big. Like everything on Ferrix is going to feel really big, and it'll be weird if Mon Mothma is just like, "No, I won't let you marry. I won't let your son marry my daughter." Like that, I'll be happy if that's what she does, but it doesn't feel like a big action moment. Even it doesn't have to be action, but like a politically exciting moment of just like the answer is still no, Davos Golden.
Mhm. See, I'm worried that we're going to get the finale and Mon Mothma's story is just going to end on a very depressing note where she's like, all right, I guess I'm making dirty deals now. I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it would work out as long as we saw her, story pick up a bit in season 2.
Yeah, that's I kind of think Vel is gonna do something to help her out.
Mm.
There's this one look when Mon Mothma is like, I was trying to do all this stuff, and then Aldani happened, and it made everything worse. And she doesn't know Vel did Aldani, and Vel just kind of like looks down. So
Hmm.
I'm hopeful that Vel is like, we can spare 500,000 credits. We just got 80 million. So
Yeah,
I'm
is
kind of
she
hoping.
just sitting on all that? Like, where is that? Those
Yeah, I don't
credits?
know. I have no idea. And maybe that's at like maybe Vel calls up Mon Mothma and is like, hey, if you can come to Ferrix, I can get you 400,000 credits or something. Like,
Hmm.
we don't know what Cinta's been doing. All the last we saw her
She's
before Ferrix
been
was,
waitressing.
well, yeah, but she was on that scooter. I don't know how she would have gotten
Oh,
the credits though, because she was stuck on Aldani. Yeah, Aldani. Right. She was on Aldani. Everyone else went somewhere else. It's like all this stuff happened weeks and weeks ago, and I'm trying to remember it all.
yeah.
But maybe Cinta was able to get some of the credits. So maybe there's a stash of credits on Ferrix, and Vel can be like, Mon, come to Ferrix. Nothing bad is going to happen here.
No drama over here. We're
that
fine.
seems that seems like a stretch. But
Yeah. Um, I will say for my drawing, My second choice was going to be drawing Luthen's ship.
Yeah.
Just
The ship
what
was
a
awesome.
banger. What a banger of a ship.
And I had this one ready to go. Thank you, Elliot Finn, for the super chat. The Fondor Hallcraft, more like the Fondor Mallcraft, with its
Hey.
double-bladed lightsaber things. Oh, and here we go. Okay. We did it. Hopefully he's got his audio set up and everything, but we have a guest. I promised you a guest, and he just stood up. Oh.
We can wait till he's ready.
He gave me a thumbs up, but we'll let him get settled.
Yeah.
But Jacob Fullerton is here, our friend from Funhaus. They are currently doing a Star Wars series every Monday. You might see a familiar face in one of those videos. And here he is, Jacob Fullerton. He is ready to go. Oh my God.
I see a bunch of minis back there. I don't want to knock over.
That's impressive. Most
impressive. Caught me in the middle of my session.
Oh yeah, he's always training, is what I hear.
Yeah,
Always on the move.
you gotta be ready.
I was in traffic most of the time, actually. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hey Jacob, how are you doing?
Good. So good to be here in these exciting times.
Well, let's just dive right into it. How are you feeling about this series called Andor?
What the heck is this thing? Oh, there's like a light shining through right into my face.
It is
Andor.
pitch black over here.
Yeah,
It's the
Andor.
timed difference.
Andor is great. I think it might be my favorite Star Wars show. I never would have expected it, but I love it. I've watched every episode like a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good. Just the writing, the performances. It's just it's a show that I'm actually telling everybody that I know to watch.
Yeah, and it seems like a Star Wars show that a lot of very casual Star Wars fans are getting into and like enjoying. Like Alex's parents are kind of loving it.
Oh, that's great.
It's a little weird. Like they watch The Mandalorian. They didn't keep up with the Book of Boba Fett. They did watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they will text me about Andor. Wow. They're like, we just watched it. It was great. And my mom knows planet names and stuff. It's been very strange.
Ooh, that's impressive.
It is impressive.
If somebody outside of my like Star Wars loving circle of friends just said Morlana 1 to me, then I'd be so happy. Well, I'll get there, I'm sure. But yeah, it's such a good show, and like it's a good show, and the Star Wars part of it is kind of like just this nice icing on it. It makes it look nice and taste a little bit better too.
Yeah, every once in a while we get a good little sprinkle of Star Wars pulpiness.
Yeah.
I would like that is my biggest criticism, I would say, of the show is I wish it were just a little more pulpy more often. I love things like Dr. Quadpaw when they pop up, and like B2 Emo is one of my favorite parts of the series, and he will just pop up here and there. But I really enjoyed those alien characters today.
Oh my God, I need to know their names. They're my favorite new Star Wars fellas.
Well, I showed it off already, but that was my drawing for the week was the dude with knife hands. I think his name was like Feewee or Feedy or something.
Yeah, he just talks. He just grunts.
Yeah,
yeah.
He stole my heart.
About the Empire kills the water and the squigglies.
The squigglies.
Oh my God,
just
some real good dialogue from these two specifically. I'm always praising the dialogue in the show, but Toozy 2. That might be my favorite.
and this one was written by Tony Gilroy. I wonder if he wrote them as like completely normal, and someone was like, Tony, you gotta.
Or he wrote them like this, and he's like, this is what Star Wars people sound like, right?
Yeah, they say nonsense.
They sound kind of like pirates.
I'm working on my sketch right now because he told me about the sketch, so I just got Microsoft Paint open.
Nice.
I'll show you all something when I'm done with it. But yeah, I really enjoyed those two weirdos.
If he was making that up as he went, I think Tony Gilroy did a great job. It was perfectly weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this show has room for weird, and that's great.
It does. It has room for a little more weird, I think. But I'm okay to wait for season 2 for that, which it's been kind of following a very Star Wars Rebels pattern for me, in the sense that it starts as a kind of a smaller story, and that it expands, it gets bigger. And so I'm feeling like in season 2, it's just going to keep on growing and getting
Yeah.
more and more Star Wars as we're going to like Yavin 4 and kind of getting closer to Rogue One.
Yeah, it's more than just whatever we can spot in Luthen's store,
which was fun.
which is fun. I'm like, oh, Keldor breathing mask.
What's your favorite Easter egg from his little shop?
I mean, the obvious ones are fun, like the Sith Stalker armor and stuff. I feel like I keep spotting more. I'm like, oh, there's like a Gungan energy shield, and oh, there's one of those weird Wookiee shields that look kind of useless because they were extremely thin. I don't know. I feel like Keldor breathing mask really resonates with me for some reason, just because it's so weird.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that he keeps getting new inventory.
Yeah,
so we get to keep looking around.
Yeah, all the Luthen like art stuff, the way they that continues in this episode. The way he's always talking or communicating with his cohorts and framing it as if it's like an art sale or something is always so cool.
I really liked that sequence between him and Clea.
Yeah, like code language about. Well, I'm really interested in this piece.
Yeah,
there's a lot of buyers on the ground.
It's so awesome.
I think the first time we watched it, we were like, he was talking about Cassian, right? And like we rewound it and we're like, yeah, that's Cassian. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, I had to go back and kind of look at it myself too to like kind of really nail it down.
I'm gonna.
I like the
super chat from Lesman Degan. Jacob, do you want to watch a Gundam anime?
Yes, that is something that I said to Rahul once, and he laughed at me the way I said it. I think that's the origins of that.
Have you spoken to Rahul? Is he enjoying the show?
Oh, he hasn't watched any of it yet.
He's busy acting and stuff with Mark Hamill and
big fan.
That's true, and being buddies with Hayden Christensen. But he was because he wasn't like the biggest fan of like the last couple shows, so he's like, I don't want to watch any more of these. But I've been telling him like I told Alana, like, I'll watch Andor and I'll let you both know how it's going. And I've told him every time, like, hey, couple episodes in, love it. 6 episodes in, solid the whole way. 11 episodes, awesome show. So I think he's just like probably waiting until the whole thing's out. Then we'll take a crack at it.
Honestly, I do wonder how that's going to be to just binge it. I'm enjoying the weekly release, but I look forward to going back and just watching the prison arc straight through again and seeing how it hits different.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to watch the arcs themselves together. Like we got to see the first, 3 together.
Yeah,
which was nice because that was its own little arc, and then to be able to do that after the show's all over and done with will be nice.
Yeah, especially like it's something I've kind of noticed in a few episodes is how little parts of certain arcs are sprinkled super sparsely in episodes. Like last episode, the Marva stuff, there was like one scene where it just shows like Daughters of Ferrix people walking around being like, oh, she's not taking her pills. And then it goes back to everything else. And that's it. And that all, paid off in this one in a sad way. But it's just we watching them together will probably make it feel a lot more cohesive. Not that it hasn't been cohesive, but like there are some parts where it's just something real small.
Yeah.
But it seems like a very efficient story. Like they don't show you everything, where sometimes I think even with Luthen going to Ferrix, and we were like, is he talking about Cassian? And I was like, how does he know about Cassian? I was like, oh yeah, Vel told Clea. So then I guess at some point Clea told Cassian, but they didn't show us that. And it's like, yeah, we can make that logical jump, but it's interesting that they really seem to only show what they think we need to see.
Yeah, and it does a good job of really just kind of planting those seeds in your brain. Like you don't really even think about it, but then when it pays off, you're like, oh yeah, that one thing.
That's
finally
okay.
coming in full circle.
Molly and I were talking about this episode while we were walking our dog, and I had this thought, or she kind of got it into my head about how Cyril has heard Luthen's voice, and he is the only
Yes.
one. And he made like a point of being like, I can recognize his voice. And then we got the Bix scene today, and I was kind of like, what was this in there for? And I was like,
Vic's not
oh,
looking too good.
oh yeah, she looks bad.
I said that, yeah, Cyril is probably going to end up finding Luthen and bringing him to the ISB and being like, here, you have to hire me now.
I know, just like he's been having such a hard time with the whole show, and his presence in most of the episodes is going to have to pay off somehow, even though it's just been him with his mom.
Yeah, that big scene showed us that the ISB still has no idea who they're looking for. They don't know what he looks like, but yeah, Cyril is going to get him. And
Cyril's arc
at the very least, he's going to hear that voice. That's going to come back, and I'm excited for that payoff.
Yeah. I'm going to miss the Cyril and Cyril's mom scenes, though. Those were fun.
I do love / hate his mom.
Yeah, I was going to say,
great.
The one thing that I really want to see from Cyril's storyline is when he gets to Ferrix, somehow his mom is there too. And she's like,
oh my God.
Are you wearing that brown suit again?
Oh, you've changed your collar again, Cyril, to catch the Luthen.
And then someone throws the Marva brick at her.
Oh no, she gets hit with the Marva brick.
That's what we were talking. Molly was like, "What if Marva put in her will or something that she wants to be an explosive?
She wants to be thrown through an Imperial window.
She's gonna be the spark that lights the fire that is the Ferrix revolution."
Yeah,
there we go.
Well, I do think she is somehow. Like her death seemed so sudden that I don't want that to be just it. And she just stopped taking her medicine, and it all seemed so fast.
Which I think really made us, makes us feel the same loss that Cassian does, because like he's not there, we're not there.
Yeah,
and then it's well, what? She's dead. That sucks.
Yeah,
she was great.
I was going to bring this up because we did talk about this option on our walk as well. The idea that maybe Cyril just gets killed.
I mean, like, I think they cannot not pay off the fact that he knows Luthen's voice. But if he captures Luthen and then like drags him over to Dedra and he's like, "Look what I did," and she's like, "Are you freaking serious, dude? You're stalking me here?" Like. Or even if it's not that, if she's just like, well, he's not going to take the credit for this. She could just shoot him.
Yeah.
But that kind of lines up with our friend at the Templin Institute has really enjoyed watching Cyril's arc and this idea that he wants the Empire to value him, but they never really will. Yeah. And that he might be like, I did the thing. I did the best thing I could. And they're like, we don't care. Blam.
Yeah, it would hammer home certain ideas about the Empire and stuff. That's for sure. He'll have like whatever purpose it is, whether it's his death, just showing how bad the Empire is, or him actually accomplishing something for once. It'll have some kind of payoff.
I hope he's in season 2. I like the character. I think Kyle Soller is fantastic in the role. Great. So I like had this vision of the end of season 1 is Cassian. He's like, I am a rebel, and Cyril going in the opposite direction, like wearing his white uniform for the first time. I think that would be cool. But I would also buy into him just being shot.
Yeah, it's such a weird character, and I'm glad he's there.
Scott in the chat has an idea that Dedra takes Cyril out and then takes the credit for catching Luthen.
Right. That's what like that's how the ISB is they're all competitive, and she had to fight to get over Blevin, and she seemed weirdly like her aide said some stuff and she seemed kind of put off by that. So I don't think she's going to put up with anyone being like, look what I did. after all your hard work.
Mhm.
Yeah. Somebody one-upping her, and it's this like absolute dork.
He is an absolute dork.
Yeah. His tie, have you seen his tie? It's like it's rectangular.
It's just like in here, not around the collar. It's here.
Yeah, it's not even a tie. It's like a belt hung from the neck.
It's like the Star Wars equivalent of a clip-on. He just
Yeah.
feeds it
Yeah.
through his shirt. It's probably actually his belt, and it's all one piece.
It's all
It's
one
going
thing.
all the way up his shirt now.
He's just wearing a harness.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. I'm picturing what it looks like under the clothes
Oh,
now,
yeah.
and I don't like
He's
it
got
at all.
It's just leather straps everywhere.
Yeah. Oh God.
He's got a diaper on under there because he thinks that taking bathroom breaks is for wimps.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, gross.
Well, yeah,
So
you
you
just
would
have
like
you're
this
sitting in that
character and
cubicle
hate
all
him.
day. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
more. Yeah, but I am curious to see where his thing goes.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm concentrating
what-
on my doodle right now too.
Oh, you're good. We haven't talked about Saw yet.
Saw Gerrera, grumpy old Saw.
That was I considered drawing that for my doodle as well,
Yeah.
just because I like seeing him get to be so paranoid for the first time. I was like, of course he's crazy. Like this would drive anyone crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so paranoid. And it's like, obviously, we see how paranoid he is in Rogue One because he doesn't even believe Jen is, there and not somehow against him. But yeah, we're seeing his paranoia kind of start to get really bad. And Luthen is definitely not helping.
Yeah. At this point, it's not like Borgullet bad, but it's like
He's thinking about it.
This is where he starts, where he's like, I can't trust anyone, and now I need a brain-sucking blob.
I'll get me one of them Borgullets.
I'll need
Yeah.
one of those Borgullets. Yeah. Luthen, I need a Borgullet right now. Yeah,
I
I love
wonder-
Luthen just throwing Benthic 2 tubes under the bus.
Yeah.
Under the space bus. And he's just like, what?
No.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that-
I love 2 tubes as a character. Just for some reason, he's just very like weird and Star Warsy, and I love his voice.
I did too. And wasn't he the one at the beginning of that scene that's like, he's in a mood? Oh
Uh-huh.
boy.
Yeah, it's so funny. But-
For a second, I was kind of like, "Oh, is it tubes?" But
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. See, we're getting paranoid just like Saw is.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious now. Duncan Powell, who plays Melshi, recently did an interview and talked about how he was not in Rogue One until Tony Gilroy came along and they did all the reshoots. I'm like,
Wow,
that's
okay.
interesting. And I'm kind of like, I wonder if Tony Gilroy wrote Borgullet or if he just had to put up with it.
It's just something he had to put in there. Like watching, I went and saw Rogue One again when they did the re-release recently for Andor, and like maybe I just didn't really remember how weird some of that Saw Gerrera stuff was. But like when he says like he's just Borgullet, he just says it, no context. And it's
Yeah,
like, what? What did he say? And then like it cuts to the next scene, and it's just like it's a big squid that sucks your brain. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I see.
All right.
And even what's the Bodhi? Even Bodhi is like, what's a Borgullet?
Borgullet?
What did he just say?
What? I know. I did laugh in the theater when he said Borgullet the first time. Like it's just so weird. It's so weird.
There's
I
a
love
there's a
it.
moment where Saw in Rogue One when he goes all of it, and he does like this little jazz hand, and Andy Blanchard pointed that out to me, and now I can't not see it every
I'm not
time.
sure. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, but I'm curious to know now because I'm ready to ruin that for myself.
Oh yeah, now that's all you'll watch is his little hand go
Yeah.
like pilot, all of it,
All of it.
All of it.
it's all true.
But like this one, it having these two different types of rebellion in the show, like juxtaposed against each other, has been really interesting. You've got like the Anto Kriegers and the Saw Gerreras. We finally got to see Anto Krieger, like just a
Yeah.
hologram of just big old dude, just big meathead rebel.
Yeah.
But
And
he's
Saul
kinda
called
like
him an
brute force.
ox, so he did
Yeah.
look like he might be nicknamed like an
Yeah,
ox.
these kind of like very like straight to the point brute force rebels that are just trying to like they just want to blow up some Imperial installations and stuff. And then you've got like the rebels playing the long game and doing like really shady stuff, and like having those alongside each other is interesting.
Yeah.
Having Luthen talk Saw Gerrera into sacrificing Anto Krieger and 30 men
That
for one
I'm still
good
annoyed
source.
at that.
Yeah. Ooh,
Like
it's
the
spicy. And I
whole
love it.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's great. Like Luthen is just someone that it's been such a roller coaster with him of like, oh, you're a mystery. I don't know what to think about you. And the more we learn about him, I'm like, God, you kind of suck. Like
He knows he
I
sucks too.
I love, yeah, he knows it. I love watching him. I like that the show doesn't glorify him, but is also kind of like, I don't know, is he necessary? Like it raises very interesting questions around him. But yeah, that he goes to Saw and he's basically like, I'm gonna pass the buck to you, and you decide if Anto Krieger lives or dies, because I'm feeling a little guilty.
Well, too guilt. Like I've had enough guilt.
We talked about the two of them earlier today too, and because earlier in the show, people were like, Saw and Luthen are basically the same, but we know that like Luthen just really doesn't want to get caught. He's like willing to do anything to protect his identity. And I was like, I feel like Saw is more open to people like knowing Saw did this. Saw's partisans were responsible for this. It's like back on Aldhani when he was like, oh, you couldn't just sleep on the job if you were with Saw's crew. So like everybody kind of knows about him, and he doesn't care. Like he wants his name out there to be feared, and Luthen is like trying to stay
nobody
hidden.
can know I exist at all.
Yeah.
Which like despite any of his like moral shortcomings with the position he's put himself in, like you really realize how invested you are in Luthen when like he was actually put in danger in this episode. And I was like, oh no, Luthen.
That was my one qualm about this episode, is that like all of that was in the trailer. And I just wish they had kept,
I must have missed it.
Yeah, see, I'm just like upset at myself that I do breakdowns and I analyze everything and like go shot by shot. And I'm like, all right, I already know that he's going to whip out the double blades and he's going to have the auto cannons. And I was just like, I know he gets out of this and I know how. And I wish that I...
There it is.
There's my doodle.
The little tongue. Oh, hold on. I can make this.
Oh, yeah, here I can zoom in on mine too. Oops, too much.
I like is the tongue out because he's like trying really hard.
He's trying really hard.
Yeah.
But also he's like, na 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 na.
Yeah. I tried to get like some grumpy Luthen going.
Oh, that's definitely Luthen.
That part
Those
was
TIE fighters look really good.
Oh, thank you. I've had a lot of experience drawing TIE fighters
on MS Paint. That's great.
Yeah, there it is. It was cool. It was super cool. And like honestly, I thought the part where he had the countermeasures for the tractor beam was cooler, but I didn't know how to draw that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I really liked that because that was something I did not know about. So watching him like launch shards of whatever, I was like,
so awesome,
sick.
I love getting to see any kind of tractor beam technology and just see him, do that and have it just completely take out their ability to use the tractor beam. I was like, oh, yeah, this is so cool.
The Fondor Hallcraft quickly becoming a favorite ship in Star Wars. It just like looks very Star Wars. It sounds like a hot rod, which we heard in this episode. Now I was like, ooh, I gotta hear that sound one more time when he's like revving that engine against the tractor beam. Oh, so awesome.
I'm curious for you, Jacob, or the rest of the chat. Well, I guess you don't remember seeing it in the trailer, but for people that did remember seeing that stuff in the trailers, did you think it was going to be like a big space fight? And were you disappointed that it was just Luthen and this other Imperial ship?
What was it? Like an Arrestor class cruiser, or it was a Cantwell class?
Yeah.
Named for Colin Cantwell. I love that.
Which is so cool. That's awesome. Yeah, like I don't know what I would have expected. Like with Rogue, even with going all the way back to Rogue One, I never expected a space battle in that, especially at the scale there was. So with this, like because there hasn't really been anything that big in these Star Wars shows. So I think maybe if I'd seen the trailer, I would have assumed it was pretty small as a
Yeah.
moment. Just like a few TIE fighters, a bit pretty big ship. Maybe not much
I
else.
wonder if they're gonna like escalate up to something that is bigger. It won't be Scarif, obviously, but I wonder if we're gonna get a larger operation between like maybe they finally get Saw to work with somebody and they go on a mission. They finally blow up Spellhouse.
Yeah, maybe they show us Anto Krieger fail.
Yeah.
I saw someone suggest that Saw might go help Krieger anyway.
Anyway,
And I was like,
that's
that's
hero
interesting.
stuff.
Which I'm just there's so much to do in the finale that I feel like they can't add that on.
Yeah, like and it wasn't until this episode I really knew where the finale was going, or where the last couple episodes of the show were going to go. But it sounds like it's going all back to Ferrix and such.
I love Saw's last line to Luthen. Let's call it war.
War.
So, like, it does kind of sound like he might go do what Saw does and be a wild card.
Yeah, and we got to see why he gets hooked up to all those tubes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I wonder blow his other feet off.
Oh no. Oh no! I like that comment. Let's call it Star Wars. Can you imagine if that was said in this show? It's just been really good.
Yeah, this of all the shows.
It's like they just dropped the title in the show, which has never happened in Star Wars, and it's like, ooh, no.
Tony Gilroy's like, I did it.
I did it.
We're gonna get
I ruined everything.
There, are you happy, nerds?
A Saw Gerrera spinoff, and it's gonna be, we're gonna call it Bogalit.
Bogalit. Luthen's like, what?
Who?
I would not mind seeing more Saw in season 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's someone in Rogue One that I was like, this is a weird performance, and I know they changed a lot about the story, and kind of like I will always be interested. I can't wait for like the 25th anniversary of Rogue One release, where they're finally like, okay, here's all the stuff we shot that didn't wind up in the end, and like Saw was supposed to have the shaved head.
That's right.
I think he was
so weird. Yeah.
There were images of the partisans like Moroff on Scarif.
Oh man.
So
I want to see Moroff do something cool.
Yeah.
That's such a cool character design.
I feel like the partisans were going to go to Scarif, and then they changed everything around. But I'm glad that this show is making me see Saw differently. Like I've come around on Forrest Whitaker's performance, but like to really show him, like Luthen is driving him crazy, and I love seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was always going to be such a weird character, especially after we got Clone Wars Saw. It was pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
But then like we get movie Saw, and it's just like a weirdo who talks weird and has a Borg gullet.
And
no,
I wonder
like Saw on this show.
I wonder if in season 2 we might see Saw and Mon Mothma meet if they haven't met already.
Yeah, that's right. We got some Mon Mothma in this episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she only had the one scene.
Yeah, she's having a hard time on Mothma.
Her daughter, that's gonna be trouble. I feel like her daughter.
Real quick, let me just. Is anyone in this show not having a bad time right now?
Those guys that were fishing, they're having a good time.
All their squigglies are dead.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the squigglies are dead. That's a bummer.
I guess things are going pretty good for Dedra.
Yeah, she's having a great time.
Perrin's having a good time. You know he is.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Perrin's never not having a good time. Yeah, I do wonder though if that like
I'm gonna bring this up every week.
He's such a jerk.
It really is.
Yeah, and he likes drinking those. What are they called? The Chandrillan drink.
Oh yeah, the squigs or
squigs. That's what it is.
Squibs?
I think. Yeah,
with the worms
disgusting.
in it.
Yeah, those Fisher dudes. They would like that. They'd like some squigs, some Chandrillan squigs. But I do wonder if that like whatever point this gets to with Mon Mothma either this season or later. It's just her just alienating herself from her family and becoming the leader of the rebellion.
Just disowning everyone.
Yeah, or them disowning her. Her daughter seems to know
yeah.
very much. She doesn't get along with her husband.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Marry her
What do
daughter
you-
off or whatever.
What do you think she's going to do with that? Do you think Mana's going to go through with it, or will they find another way?
Let's see. I mean, just judging on how things seem to be going in this show, I think she's going to go through with it, and her daughter's going to hate her for it. But at the same time, it seems that her daughter is just, like, getting into whatever Chandrillan traditions there are, which I didn't really like fully understand, but maybe that's the point. But I saw it and I was like, oh, she's just doing some traditional Chandrillan weirdness.
I
there
kind of
was,
see
like,
it as a
some
go
kind
ahead.
of chanting going
Yeah.
on. I don't know if it's religious or if it's just like
A
a
culture
weird
thing.
book club that we don't understand.
Yeah, because her and Vel are talking about it as something that, like, they're not really into. And that, like,
Yeah.
even Perrin's not into it, but Lita, she likes it. She likes doing weird Chandrillan stuff. But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how the marriage thing's gonna go with what's his name? What was the banker guy?
Davos Skolden.
Davos. Yeah, that was right.
Yeah,
so
I-
Our
who's
friends at
he?
Force Center started calling him Davos Scumbag, and that's
Scumbag.
Yeah. All right.
That's fitting.
That's great. Yeah,
I-
but I'm curious.
I've had a theory about Lita from the beginning that she's going to want the arranged marriage because she's so
Oh.
about the traditional stuff. Like, she'll be happy about it, and it's just gonna break Mon Mothma's heart even more.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, that's what I was like, even like mid-sentence, I turned around on it. Like, I was like, oh, her daughter's gonna hate her for it, but oh yeah, wait, she was doing some weird Chandrillan thing. So maybe it won't be the worst thing. Maybe Davos' son is a nice guy.
Yeah,
hope
he might be
so.
great.
Yeah, he might not
We
be
don't
very
know.
he might be very non-Perrin in personality.
Yeah.
We can hope.
That would be funny if, like, I don't think she's going to go through with it, but it would be funny if the younger Skolden were just like the best dude ever.
Yeah.
I see all that stuff as being basically like giving Mon Mothma permission to go through with it, guilt-free, but she knows that down the line she will regret it. So it's like it's a short-term fix, but in the end it might ruin her daughter's future. And I think it's where Saul showed up to Luthen and was like, why don't you decide if Anto Krieger lives or dies? Like, Mon Mothma is not going to pass that buck to her daughter.
Well, I think
Yeah.
Mon Mothma could be, playing the long game, thinking, okay, Lita's probably going to be into the idea of doing this arranged marriage thing. I'm going to concentrate on this rebellion in hopes that when she decides it's not a good idea down like 20 years down the line, the empire will be gone because I will have succeeded and done my job, and the rebellion will be successful in getting rid of how awful the empire is. So maybe she's just like hoping to make a better future for her, and then she'll be able to decide whether or not she wants to stay with the guy she ends up marrying or not. She'll have a choice. She won't be stuck like Mon Mothma is.
Yeah. Or flip side, we get a Perrin redemption arc. And retcon, he's one of the guys in Return of the Jedi at the bunker
Oh my god.
next to Rex. It's like, there's Perrin.
That's they keep doing that with Return of the Jedi. It's
There's
like,
just
do
so
you
many
know
guys
who
there.
else?
Yeah.
Hera was there. Rex was
Yeah.
there. There's so
oh my
many
god,
people you
Uncle
didn't
Harlow was at Endor.
You know
That's
who
how
I'm waiting to see? I want to see Crix Medine.
Oh, which rhymes with
Oh, that'd be great.
Bix Kayleen.
And
I can't
his
stop
awful
thinking about that.
terrible stick-on beard. I
Oh
want
yeah,
to
his
see him.
hair too.
Oh
We
man,
have
like
stolen a small Imperial shuttle.
he's trying to be in disguise, and like we have Luthen over here with his immaculate wig and stuff, and then
Yeah.
Crix Medine comes out. He's like, "I'm ready."
Yeah, he has the
Luthen's
same
like,
scene
"What
where he
are you
goes
doing?"
into his closet and stuff, but he puts on like the worst hair and the worst beard and his little outfit, and he does his little like fancy pose.
He's like, I'm killing it.
Yeah,
That's what happened right before he walked out in Return of the Jedi to deliver that speech.
He actually looked pretty good until he put on like the outfit. Oh man, I want this now.
we're getting off topic, but was he in Return of the Jedi in that role because just in case what's his name?
Admiral Akbar.
Yeah. Just in case Akbar didn't work out.
Yep.
Okay. I was like, did I make that up?
No, you can see deleted scenes of him in the chair that Akbar's in. Basically, like, yeah, we're gonna shoot all these scenes twice,
Mhm.
and we're gonna have a human deliver the lines just in case the fish man doesn't work out.
Yeah, luckily the Fishman worked out.
Yeah,
Worked out
thank goodness.
Yeah. But I'm grateful for Crix Madine too.
I think it's funny that everyone's like, the fish man looks way better than the human with the fake beard. We buy the fish man, fake beard, not doing it.
Yeah. It's just also off topic. I just remember it was like Rogue Squadron or something where you and Crix Madine steal the Imperial shuttle
Mhm.
or something.
Mhm.
That's the only other thing I remember Crix Madine from.
He's in Dark Forces as well. You rescue him as
that's
Kyle
right.
Katarn. Yeah,
Dark
because he was a
Forces.
former Imperial agent.
Yeah, a defector.
But yes,
Yeah,
Molly,
they're
I would
still
love to see Crix Madine.
They're
Season
still
two.
Honestly, with what they've done with Cassian, he has a lot of shared qualities with Kyle Katarn. So maybe in season 2, we'll just do that mission and we'll
Yeah.
see Cassian rescue Crix Madine.
with his Briar pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
hey,
honestly
amazing.
very happy to see that again in this episode.
Yeah, me too. I was like, ooh, look at that thing. I love it. What if, hey, some of those Imperials on Ferrix, one of them is actually Crix Madine, a young Crix Madine, teams up with Bix, Crix and Bix,
Ooh,
going on adventures.
hell yeah.
I just
I
want
like
the names to rhyme. Anyway, so I'm going real off the rails with Crix Madine.
We were talking about the stuff on Niamos. What do you guys think is going to happen with the manifest?
Oh, the manifesto.
Nimix manifesto.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. It
I
was in
still
the
think
box,
he's
right?
gonna
with
read
the
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Was it like with the credits that he left on the shower?
Yeah. He like
And
opened
whatnot.
it and it was just Nimic's voice starting
Right.
to read what was in it. And he
I got
like,
excited
closed
for that
it.
too. I miss you,
Yeah.
Nimic.
Yeah, I miss him too. I mean, I feel like a lot of times in the show, there'll be like objects and stuff like that where it's like, it isn't so much what the object is, it's like what it does for the character.
Mhm.
So I feel like just it opening up, this is just a kind of a theory, I guess. It's like it opening up, us hearing Nemic's voice. It's just like maybe just the smallest reminder for us and for Cassian that this is something he's going to consider at some point, like whatever is inside it. So it's there, and yeah, he isn't quite there yet, but
Mhm.
maybe it's time for him to start looking into it now that he's been oppressed hardcore by the Empire.
Yeah, it could be just reminding him and reminding the audience that like Cassian is changing for the better because of all the people that he's meeting throughout this show. And like he kind of rolled his eyes at Nimic at first,
Yeah.
but now he's probably like, maybe I should listen to this little audiobook.
Yeah, but not right now. I'm trying to sneak out of this apartment.
Yeah.
I'm
Now Nimic.
trying to decide if we'll see it on camera. Like, I'm okay to assume that at some point he'll read it.
Yeah.
They might not have time, and like that's kind of, as we approach the end of season 1, I'm more and more upset that we're not getting 5 seasons of this series. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I respect Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna. We're like, this is so much work, we can't spend 10 or more years of our lives doing this. I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it, but selfishly, I wish you could.
Yeah.
I
They
could-
got 5 years before Rogue One. Just like, yeah, one for each year.
Exactly.
That was the plan, I think, when they first started. But
It was going to be 5, and then they cut it down to 3, and then 2, I think.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I
It's all right.
appreciate the restraint.
now that I'm thinking about Nimic's manifesto, I'm like, thinking about their whole like secret radio system that they had set up on Ferrix, and I'm imagining them playing his manifesto over that, and then showing people on bunches of different planets tuning into it and listening to it and being like, yeah, we're gonna rise up.
It'd be a
That would
very
be
rebel
cool.
thing.
Yeah, it's similar to Ezra in
Yeah,
season 1 of Star
Rebels
Wars
thing. I
Rebels.
should have said that.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is kind of at the same point in time. I think we made that joke last week about how Cassian is like stuck in prison and having to go through hell building these things, and they just euthanized Olaf. And meanwhile, Ezra and Zeb are over on Lothal, like, we gotta steal a Jogan fruit. You guys had very different experiences.
Yeah. It's light in my eyes. Look at this. I look like I'm having a therapy session with Anakin about his premonitions.
Yeah.
Premonitions.
Teach yourself to let
All right.
go.
Everything you fear to lose. Sorry, Star Wars has like poisoned my brain for the past like 6 weeks.
I mean,
Poison.
while you bring it up, give Star Boys a quick plug.
Oh yeah, Star Boys. It's our Funhaus show. I finally got to make a Star Wars show at Funhaus, and 6 episodes are out right now, and there's one more coming next week that I'm very excited for. It's the Star Boys Holiday Special.
Oh no, I was wondering what the
Yeah.
7th was gonna be.
Yeah, starring Rahul Kohli,
Oh, nice.
who's coming back for a
Yay.
Funhouse video at long last. But Star Boys has been super fun. It's like this. It's not very often that I'm just like, I need to edit this whole thing. Usually, like it'll go to lots of like anybody else and stuff. But I was like, I want to save the trouble from any other editors where I have to give all these notes asking for my stupid Star Wars stuff that I want in the episode. So it's like I just need to do this whole thing myself. So it's been fun. Like, just if anybody doesn't know, me and Patrick Brown, we every episode starts with us reenacting something from Star Wars. And the first one, Alex, you're in it as stash leader, gloriously returning, and we're your terrible squadron mates attacking the Death Star. And then like every episode corresponds to a Star Wars movie, in release order, of course. So yeah, the Revenge of the Sith one just came out, where we had a full-on lightsaber fight, and I rotoscoped the whole thing, and I was way in over my head.
Oh, rotoscoping is the worst.
Yeah, it came out great though. But yeah, I encourage anyone to check out those videos because we had a Terrace Kasi fighting tournament.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring a couple chats in the messages in the chat.
puppet.
The Yoda puppet or Muppet.
Oh my god, that Yoda
And then
puppet.
been loving Star Boys. Swamp
Swamp
Yoda kills
Yoda
me.
Yeah,
had
from
me
the first
crying.
episode. That was I did not expect that. Like the Yoda puppet, that was supposed to be for one episode. That was supposed to be just in the
I figured.
Strikes Back one where we play Shadows of the Empire. But Elise is just so funny with that Yoda puppet, and it looks so terrible because it's just a backpack. It's just one of those backpacks, you know.
That's what that is.
Yeah, because Yoda puppets, they just don't exist
Yeah.
anywhere. It's all Grogu now. Like looking for anything that could be a Yoda puppet was impossible. So I found one of these backpacks on eBay, and I just sliced the mouth off and pulled a bunch of stuffing out. And in the office, we found like a little tennis ball that had a slit cut in it, probably for moving furniture or something.
I
So
was over
stuffed
here
that in the
thinking
mouth.
you found like some ancient puppet from the 80s. And I was like, man, it's really falling apart in
I
there.
wish that would have been amazing. No, but it's like the mouth.
I
is a tiny
genuinely
tennis
Googled
ball.
like Yoda puppet. Where do I get this thing?
Yeah, you squeeze the tennis ball and it looks like a mouth opens and closes. So I just super glued that to the inside of the lips, which were just shredded from me cutting it open. So it looks awful, but it gets the point across. It looks as bad as it sounds. So yeah. So that thing is filthy. Like we've poured all sorts of drinks into its mouth because the tennis ball is hard, so it can actually retain liquid that eventually also gets vomited out. In the holiday special, we may have fed him to a dog.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm currently editing that right now, but it's been a really, really fun series, and maybe there'll be another season at some point because there's a lot of Star Wars games.
I
Mhm.
hope you get to keep doing it. They've been
Yeah.
very, very funny.
Yeah, I'm glad to
And
hear it.
there is a link in the description of this video if you want to check them out. I put a link to the first episode and a link to the Squadrons video, which was
The
still
Squadrons
so
video.
super fun.
I know, which I use a lot of the same stock music from in these videos. Yeah, and basically the same when we did the little intro for the first Star Boys. I opened up Squadrons because I needed some B-roll. I started just flying around, but this time I was actually flying around trying to get stuff that like corresponded to what we were saying, because I was like, oh, we're screaming about TIE fighters. I'll follow some TIE fighters around, because then I have to reverse the footage, so it looks like I'm getting chased by TIE fighters. So it was a little more conscious of what was going on instead of like the insanity that was the Squadrons video. But yeah, those have been very fun, and Andor has very much been fueling my desire to do Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's great. That honestly seems like a perfect point to let you, unless there's something else you wanted to talk about, we can let you go and keep editing and enjoy the rest of your afternoon/evening.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. It's like Andor's so good. Like I look forward to it every week. And I honestly like watching Rings of Power and House of the Dragon, all these big shows coming out. I think Andor was my favorite one of the three.
Yeah.
Surprise,
Which-
surprise.
I know. And it's like not just because it's Star Wars. It's just like it's great. It's great in ways that I've always wanted a Star Wars show to be.
Yeah, when all three of those shows were on, I was just like,
Ugh.
oh my gosh, what
It's a lot of TV.
it's a lot of really good TV, but yeah,
Yeah.
Andor just really stands out among all shows, not just Star Wars. So
Exactly.
shows.
Yeah. It's a big surprise. Like I wasn't that excited for an Andor show when it got announced years and years and years ago.
I feel so vindicated. I did a video like a couple months ago just because I kept seeing people being like, who even asked for this? Like, why are we doing this? And I was like, this is gonna be awesome. And I didn't know. I was hoping it would be awesome, but just like a spy thriller in Star Wars, come on. And so like the fact that it's actually good, I'm like, oh, thank God.
And I was definitely one of those naysayers. And I think it wasn't until I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks pretty cool. This looks pretty cool.
When it first got announced, I was like, we didn't know anything about what it was going to be. Like, we didn't know the fact that K2SO wasn't going to be in the first season. So when it first got announced, I was like, oh, I bet this show's going to be really funny.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised how funny it is sometimes.
It does have really good, solid humor bits.
Yeah.
It's really dark humor, though.
Yeah. Or just like Cyril Karn stuff. It's a show that manages to be really funny without telling a single joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole when Cyril and his buddy, the guy who's like a smelter or something now.
Oh,
Mosk,
yeah. What's his name? Mosk?
Uh-huh.
When it's them just being like really serious about being corporate security. Like that was funny. Like this is funny because they're so overly serious, and like there's so many people around them that's like they just don't care. They're just doing their job. But it's just these two guys who just love being space cops. And like you can't help but laugh at how like awkward and uncomfortable it's making everybody.
Yeah.
But it's just crafted.
Exactly it. Yeah. It's all stuff that you're like laughing at, because if you're not laughing, you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, there's a lot of oh no.
Cyril's mom is someone who I'm like, I hate you, but I'm laughing at everything that you're doing.
Every night I weep for Kino Loy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was your favorite episode of the 11 so far?
That's hard. That's really tough.
Well,
like
it's even
was pretty amazing.
Which one?
The prison escape, the last episode. That was fantastic. Like I was so into that.
I think I have to agree with you, but the second I asked that question, I'm like, that feels unfair, because like the prison escape works so well because of 9 and 8 and 7.
Yeah, it like builds up to it.
It's just the series as a whole is fantastic, but episode 10 was just like, I was over the moon with how good that was.
It took some build up, but like that was just so good. And like all the episodes definitely depend on each other. Like I really like the third episode. The fourth episode is a great Stellan episode where we get to see his like double life and stuff, which I thought was so interesting and cool. ugh,
Yeah, the
it's
way they're unfolding all of these layers is really,
yeah,
really neat.
and I'm
Well,
really excited
hopefully
for the
episode
finale.
12 does that as well.
I
And
know. So many episodes. That's been awesome. Like a Star Wars
Yeah.
series, like
Yeah.
what's been the most? Like
8 up until
8,
now.
just 8 from like was it
Well, Bad
Mandalorian
Batch
had
is
8?
16. Yeah.
Yeah. I
For
guess like
live
with live action, it's been pretty short.
Yeah, Obi-Wan
Um,
went by really fast.
yeah, 6 episodes that aren't long.
And
That's
2
crazy.
in the first day, it was like, oh, we're
Mhm.
just blowing through. We got through half of it in less than a week. That
Yeah,
was
which
kind
is
of
nuts.
a bummer.
Mandalorian episodes can be pretty short. Second season had
Mhm.
some longer ones, but there were some short Mandalorian episodes sometimes.
Yeah.
But like this has been great. Nice long series. It's all cohesive and well written and exciting. Like I know Cassian's gonna be fine, but there's a lot of other characters I care about. Luthen, I like. He's such a interesting character who's done some messed up stuff, but ooh boy, I just love watching him.
Yeah, that's true of just about everyone. Like there are some terrible people in this show, but I'm like, I wish there was more Dedra
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
this
casting in it
episode.
is so good. Especially like
Luthen's-
there's a lot of unfamiliar faces too, and I feel like the ones that I do recognize, like Stellan Skarsgård and stuff, like they're characters that need presence,
Yeah.
and like just like this actor that really brings that presence. It's
Yeah.
great.
Luthen's monologue to Lonnie in the last episode was so good.
Like his mind is a sunless space. That's so hardcore. Like
Oh, yeah.
I'll watch it every so,
So
often.
hardcore.
It's so hardcore. Oh,
That's
he's
what he-
so good.
That's what he has in his AIM away message.
My mind is a sunless space. That's amazing. And he's got one of those little animated gifs of like
Yeah.
Anakin or something. Which in like in the most recent Star Boys, Lindsay Washburn, she's talking about how when she was a teenager and Revenge of the Sith came out, she had all these little animated like Anakin Hayden Christensen gifts in her photo bucket.
Oh,
that she, like,
ooh, photo
saved.
bucket.
Yeah, and she was showing them all to us because she still had them. And some would be like, "Oh, like light and dark," and it shows like a little gif of
Yes. Oh my god, I
the tear coming down.
I feel like I probably also had those in my photo bucket because I remember posting at least one prequel gif. It was probably an Anakin in my live journal one time. So
Yeah, and putting him in the video, realizing how small they were. Like I was like, all right, let's drop this little gif in the video, and it's just like a tiny square. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I guess I'll blow this up and it'll look terrible, but it's all I can do. But yeah, love the show.
If you're in the
Excited for
chat and you
finale.
know what live journal is, I would be shocked.
Sound off if you know what
And-
live journal is.
and photo bucket. I don't. Does that still exist? Because like,
I think it does.
I think so. Probably
Was
like
that
not used
before-
as much.
was that before Imgur existed, or did they come out at the same time?
I have
Oh,
no
God,
idea.
I
I think
really-
Photo Bucket was before.
Yeah, Photo Bucket
Yeah.
still exists. Probably does like a similar thing. Yeah, you pay for storage and stuff. Or you could try it for free,
times.
apparently. If anybody's wondering about Photo Bucket.
Anyone
right
want to
now.
join MySpace? You can do it for free.
Yeah, it scrolls left to right now.
It does?
I think that was the thing, is that it's going up and down and with left to right, which is insane. Absolutely insane. Oh my god. They should do that with the next Star Wars text scroll. Just have it go left to right.
Like really change out how we watch Star
Yeah.
Wars.
which
That's how
would-
we mix it up.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how that would work.
I could
But-
see Elon Musk making Twitter scroll that way, just being like, "All right, dude,
Yeah.
come on."
Somebody will, yeah, we just need Stephen King to tweet about how going vertically sucks, and Elon Musk will instantly change it to go left to right.
Well,
What a nightmare.
But before we let you go, I thought of one more question. Let's just take a wild prediction for episode 12. Do you have anything in your head that you want to see, think's going to happen, etc.?
There is like one thing I guess I forgot to bring up is they really leave it dangling what Bix's answer about who Cassian was talking to, because they're asking if it was Anto Krieger, but we don't hear her answer. We don't know if she revealed the truth about whoever it was that he talked to, or if she lies and tell them that Anto Krieger is the one who's talking to. Poor Anto. Like everyone's lying about just really screwing him over.
Yeah,
They've brought him up so many times that I'm like, yeah, are we gonna see him? Are we going to see
Yeah.
this attack? What's going on with all that?
Yeah. I do think that it just makes sense for Cassian. I almost call him Assian. No, no, that's
That's the porn
If this was a
parody.
worse show, then sure. But no, if Cassian comes back to Ferrix, and there's gonna be a trap awaiting, and we're gonna have to see how they deal with that. And then I guess we'll see some maybe what's going on with Mon Mothma's daughter.
Yeah.
As well.
That's
as
what
that.
I'm excited to see is like Cassian sets foot on Rick's road and then 8 spies that are all from different factions jump on him. And like,
Yeah.
and
They're like,
everyone's like,
"He's
who are
here."
you? Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
I do feel like we're definitely gonna see some action in the next one, which like I
Look
don't
at-
mind a lack of action at all. In
Yeah.
this show because all the other stuff is so interesting. But
Yeah,
I
We're
think
gonna
we'll see
get
some
the
action.
we're gonna get the Spider-Man meme with all the spies
Yeah.
on Ferrix.
Wait a minute.
I know it's
Yeah,
so funny, like
Cinta-
them just like right next to each other, looking at the same place.
Not realizing. I kind of feel like Cinta might know. Cinta is
Yeah.
pretty sharp, but
Hmm.
yeah, they're both just like staring at Marva's house.
Yeah, and I
Like-
keep forgetting that like they wanted to kill Cassian Andor. Like
Mhm.
everyone wants to kill Cassian Andor, even the rebels.
Everyone hates Cassian.
I know, and he just
Yeah.
wants to check on his mom.
Oh,
Yeah,
He just wants to get his sweet little baby boy droid dog and get out of there.
I hope B2 makes it out okay.
That's all I care about, honestly.
He was
If-
charging. He was charging. Let the droid charge. Oh my god. Ugh. But yeah, I think that it's all going to come back to Ferrix for the next one, and it's going to go down.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
going
excited.
down.
we will let you go for the rest of the night,
Yeah.
and we will stay on to answer some chat questions. But Jacob, again, plug Funhaus, plug your Twitch, plug whatever you want.
Oh yeah, on Funhaus, youtube.com/Funhaus. I think that's how it goes. We got a Star Wars series coming out right now. It's really, really fun. We reenact a lot of Star Wars and play some crazy Star Wars games. Not limited to Masters of Terrascasi, the Battlefront 3 fan mod. And then we do a little bit of Jedi Academy fan movie duels for
Ooh.
the Star Boys holiday special, on top of some other
Excellent.
things. There might be a little bit of Jar Jar in there too. Great game. But yeah, check that out. And then of course I stream on twitch.tv/JacobFull. I build Gundam models, which you can see there's a Jenga tower of behind me. But I do that every Monday. I love to see people in the chat hanging out and stuff. But yeah, and Andor is great. I talk about Andor a lot when I'm building Gundams every week. But yeah, that's where you can see me. And thanks for having me, friends. It's so good
Oh,
to
thank
talk
you
to
so
you
much
guys
for-
again.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for coming on. We haven't had you on since Celebration. When we
That's
talked
right.
Survivor.
Survivor, yeah.
I know you're busy and editing a bunch of stuff all the time, so thank you for taking an hour out of your day
Of
to join us.
course.
But
As soon as
we're
this
so-
is done,
so
I'm gonna
happy
go
to have
edit
you.
Star Wars.
Stop talking about Star Wars. Go edit some Star Wars.
Yeah, go look at Star Wars some more. Oh my god. But yeah, thanks for having me, folks. Enjoy the rest of the stream, everybody. And I'm sure we'll talk about Star Wars again very soon.
I'll text you
For
next
sure.
week.
Yeah, when we watch the finale. Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. Bye, friends.
See you, Jacob.
Bye.
And we are going to answer all of your super chats, your chat questions, etc. But today's today's stream is sponsored by Masterclass. So I'm going to play that ad and I'm going to go get another
Oh,
drink. And
here we
we'll be
go.
right back.
I'm gonna
Here we
time
go.
you on
This
my
one's this
invisible
one is a
watch.
little longer, so I think I have time. I probably don't
Okay.
have to run. We'll see. Today's video is brought to you by Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You can learn about filmmaking from solo director Ron Howard, improve your acting skills with Mace Windu himself, Samuel L. Jackson, or learn about business strategy from former Disney CEO Bob Iger. With over 180 classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. I actually went through a dog training class taught by Brandon McMillan, who trained animals for the screen, but now has his own show specifically about dog training. That caught my eye because we have a dog named Hilo that you've probably seen wandering through our videos. He is the sweetest dog, but he's also big, and he can get anxious. Even a few short 10-minute lessons helped me understand how to communicate with him better. But like I said, there are a ton of classes to choose from, all taught by experts of their respective fields. I highly recommend you check it out. This holiday, give one annual membership and get one free. Go to masterclass.com/Star Wars today. That's masterclass.com/Star Wars. Terms apply. No problem.
Halo. That clip was from our the reaction that we
Reaction to this
filmed
episode, right?
for this episode. If you're on our Patreon, which you should definitely check out, we do reactions to all the new episodes of all the new Star Wars shows, but there are different tiers. The $2 tier, everyone gets reactions. The $5 tier gets unedited reactions, which today's included Hilo forcing us to pause the episode because he was out of water, and you can just like hear him banging around in the kitchen, and then he comes back over and he gets up on the couch and he like sits on me and then sits on you, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, he's if like Hilo or Pippin or both are typically in our reactions. So yeah.
Well,
plug
let's
there.
good plug. Let's dive into Super Chats, and Red Vega has our first one here. Thank you so much, Red Vega. Even in a galaxy far, far away, Cyril suffered from dial-up internet.
Oh yeah.
I did
was
like that a lot.
Funny. I'm gonna scroll up so I can find these super chats.
It was
Bring 'em on
fun.
Screen.
It was fun seeing Cyril and, well, more Mosk just like responding to whatever Cyril was saying incorrectly.
Yeah, he's like,
Just like
yeah,
they-
exactly.
No, I'm on Morlana.
Oh my god, so funny.
That kind of like Jacob was saying, it's like just these very serious people who think they're more important than they are. Just seeing him being like, I'm in a smelter now, I'm soldiering on, things have been rugged for me, but like I'm still just I enjoyed seeing what happened to Mosk because I hated that dude. I love to watch him, but the second he showed up I was like, oh no.
And I loved seeing Cyril's mom continue to do the mom things, and she's just like listening into their conversation and has to add a little jab at him afterwards. Good times.
I loved his like wave at his mom to be like, go away, Mom, I'm on the phone.
Yeah. I was waiting for her to go pick up another phone on mute and like listen into the but she could hear everything, so didn't matter.
Well, Mark White has our next one. Thank you, Mark. I know subjective shots are rare in Star Wars in general, but was today the first time we've seen the camera take the point of view of a droid? I love how we saw the grief through B's eyes first.
Did we saw 3PO's point of view in the prequels.
That's right.
I don't know why I remember that, but
because it's such a weird shot. You're right.
It is.
It's when Anakin is like getting ready to leave,
and he's
it
like,
just as like a
"Bye."
POV. It's like one shot that follows Anakin.
Yeah.
So it's not the first time, but it is rare. But that that stands out because it's such a weird shot in Star Wars.
Anakin's like, sorry I couldn't finish you in time. Anyways, bye.
Sorry you're naked. I'm out of here.
My pot's showing.
The way that they shot that for B2 and Marva, like I was immediately terrified because I thought something happened to B2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh no, it's still awful because it's Marva.
seeing B2 like get so upset that he was like vibrating, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, and you made
Just-
me sad. At first, I thought someone put a teacup on him as if he were like a nightstand. But then I
Oh,
think you're right. Like that's
Marva's that
Marva's cup.
we've seen Marva drinking out of that cup, and that was probably the last interaction she had was with B2 was setting her teacup down on him and being like, BRB. And she didn't BRB.
Molly.
It's okay.
So sad.
Brasso's gonna take care of him and give him a little hug.
Mm. I'm wondering, so this might be the first time that like we've been introduced to a droid, and I don't know that I will accept another droid like B2. Like I was real excited to see another BD1 or a BD droid in the Book of Boba Fett. I'm sure at some point we're gonna get another B2 FNP or something. I'll be like, you're not the real thing.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have the theory that B2's consciousness gets transferred to K2SO, which I'm latching onto this theory now because we've been seeing the fact that he can't hold a charge for a long time now. So maybe eventually like that droid body just like doesn't work for him anymore. And yeah, he gets transferred over to a KX droid. And that's why he's so sassy, because he's like, yeah, I can beat people up now.
Maybe. Like, I don't hate that idea, but it will also make me sad because then it's like, well, we've seen B2 Emo die. And that's terrible. But
it's not
he
the
died
same.
nobly. And it makes sense as to why he'd be so loyal to Cassian. I like it and I hate it.
Like I said, I didn't like the theory at first, but I'm warming up to it.
There's a lot of theories about this show that I'm like, I don't know if I want them to do that, but the theories haven't been all that crackpot. Like Luthen maybe being a Jedi or having a connection to one, Clea maybe being Andor's sister. I'm like, I can see why people are making those connections, and it doesn't seem like a huge leap. I'm not crazy about all those theories, but it wouldn't be absurd.
I'm gonna bring up Coleslaw's super chat here next, or do you want to read Mark's? I have to scroll up.
I can do Mark's because it's here. Templin Institute. What's up, Mark? Thank you for the super chat. What do you make of Luthen spending months planning the theft of a backwater Imperial garrison to then just immediately attacking an Imperial warship? I hope a good YouTube channel makes a video about that. Why don't you do that, Mark?
Interesting concept. So wait, Luthen spending months planning the Aldhani job.
The Aldhani job, yeah.
Well, it's like what we've been saying this whole time. Like he's so worried about getting caught and having his identity, his double life put out there. Because like he's kind of in a really sweet spot right now because he can like do the rebellion stuff behind closed doors, and then he has his shop that he can run on Coruscant. So he just really doesn't want to get caught. So I feel like he helped put together the Aldhani thing, but like he can obviously take care of himself, or his ship can.
Yeah, honestly, like a lot of people, I saw people online praising his piloting and stuff, but I think that the piloting, I think was him. The cannons seemed like they were automated. I think all he really had to do was fly around and spin once, but I did like all that. My favorite part was when he destroyed the tractor beam. I thought that was the coolest part.
Yeah, because that's something we'd never really seen before.
But yeah, the idea of just like, I don't even know if he launched those out. Like all he had to do was let them go, and the tractor beam just pulled all that stuff into it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, shout out to David W. Collins doing all the work.
All of it.
Sound designer at Lucasfilm and also great guy.
Coleslaw with the next super chat here. Today I learned that in 1953, the Georgia state legislature voted to declare Andor a word in the English language, meant to replace and/or in legal documents.
Mm. I feel like this is an avocado fact.
Yeah, sounds like one. Maybe Georgia legislature will be the new avocado facts thing. Like,
Yeah.
you can just...
This seems
It's
too
Georgia
specific
law
to be
that...
real. It might be real. I don't know.
Thank you, Coleslaw. Spiral with the next one. Cassian's box was still in the same spot when he came back, and it looked like nothing was missing. Too convenient? What are your thoughts on this? I think it was hid pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, he was gone for 30-ish days. I think it was just hidden. No one's going around looking on the top of the showers for stuff. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think you
like...
could see that box unless you stood on top of something.
Right. And like, that seemed like a big resort hotel. So the cleaning staff probably are not cleaning up there, looking up there for stuff. So I think it makes sense that it would still be there.
It did not bother me at all. I was just like excited that he went back to Niamos in the first place to get all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy about that. Also, I did not know this, that David Collins is the voice of the Fondor.
Oh.
So that's yeah, like he does voices all the time. I love to talk about, he plays his own words, the cowardly stormtrooper in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And I felt bad every time I killed him. But yeah, he and Darth Nicholas points out he's Proxy in The Force Unleashed. So
Okay.
he's a voice actor, he's a host, but he is also a sound designer. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Alex, do you want to bring up Philip B's super chat? His
just...
messages in the chat.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Philip B, for the very generous super chat. Hey, you two, long time, first time. Anyways, I wanted to give a shout out to my lovely girlfriend, Peyton, who's watching. Oh, hi, Peyton.
Hi, Peyton.
Thank you both and keep up the great content. Well, thank you, Philip and Peyton.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was insanely generous for a shout out.
You're awesome, Peyton.
Elliot Finn has the next one. Thank you,
There we go.
Elliot. Is it weird that I'm kind of here for the Cyril Mosk bromance? I almost feel bad for Mosk. He seemed upbeat despite everything, and it was a bit sad.
Oh, I mean, Mosk was kind of adorable. He's just like reporting back to his old sergeant, like, "Hey, sir, just wanted to let you know that I'm still working on that thing that you told me to keep an eye on, and I got some news for you." He's like really excited to check in with him.
That's something that I think this show does really well, is that they will show you some people here like, I don't like what they stand for, but they are people. And you know, in the real world, you can be friends with someone and then you find out what they believe in later and you're like, never mind. So like getting to have both of those moments where we see that, like, okay, we fundamentally disagree on things, but like you are still a person and you're going to have friends who do agree with you. So I just think they're doing a good job at making all of the characters, whether or not they are literally humans in the show, they all feel human.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
so I don't think it's that weird, because I kind of had the same reaction of just like, look at them being friends, especially after Cyril's just been crapped on ever since episode 3.
Yeah. But it's like they've made it seem like he kind of not deserves it, but like you don't feel too bad for him.
No. I didn't feel bad. I will say I didn't feel bad for Mosk. I was kind of like, oh, you have to work in a factory now. Like, oh well, at least you don't have a gun anymore.
Right.
Like, but there was something about their friendship that I was like, oh
Yeah. If only they were fighting the good fight, they would have been
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Next up, we've got a super chat from Dragonus Prime. It's you, dude. Luthen's artifact watch today. We got ourselves an honest to God Jedi Temple Guard mask in the front. Yeah, I noticed that. Was it 2 episodes ago or the last episode?
It was a few episodes ago that we first saw it. I think it was 7. But this time, like, this is something else that he does. He's always moving his inventory around, and I think we had the Jedi Temple mask like front and center in a better position to actually see it.
Well, I think Clea's doing all the moving and cleaning in
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
He's like never around anymore.
That is true.
That's why Clea is so intense and mean. She's like, I didn't want this job. I didn't want
Yeah, I
to.
got to do all this work. I wanted to be a spy. And
Yeah.
Luthen's like, well, an important part of being a spy is upkeep in the shop and sweep the floors.
Lord Hosk, this is fairly early in the show.
Yeah, it was at 6.
For this.
They just wanted to get it in.
Another week. Are we keeping you from something? No. This is our
Not
plan.
yet.
And we're making good time too. It's only what, 7:45?
Are we making good time? We usually get to super chats. We start doing super chats at like 7.
True. Well,
that Jacob was late because of traffic and his job, you know.
well, I forget that it's 3 hours earlier over there. So
Yeah, that's the hardest part about scheduling some of these things is that we're on the East Coast, and a lot of the people we want to have on this show are on the West Coast.
Mhm.
So when if we don't want to go until 2 a.m., if we want to start at a reasonable time, it's like, well, it's 3 p.m. for them.
Yep.
But Jedediah Ellenberg has the next super chat. Thank you, Jedediah. Do you think we'll hear and get a mention of Ezra's speech? I do not.
I don't think Ezra has any place in this show.
Well, at the end of Rebels season 1, he does like a big transmission
Yeah.
to the sector, the galaxy, etc. So I do think it's like a big deal, but I don't think it's going to happen in this show. I think it's going to be more personal about just Ferrix and Cassian. Maybe Mothma. That's where I could hear. Like, I don't think Ferrix is going to get this transmission and be like, we should fight. It'll be awesome if it happens, but I think everything's going to stay more personal. Mothma might say something of like, did you hear about what happened on Lothal? That could be kind of cool.
Yeah. Like we've got rebel cells rising up in so many places, and yeah, Lothal gets a mention. Or I'm still attached to this idea now that they play Nemec's manifesto over the Ferrix like
I think
rebel
that's
channel.
a cool idea.
And if they did that and did the scene that in my mind, I can see happening where they just show a bunch of different locations listening to the manifesto, but it could be different manifestos, and Ezra's speech could be one of them that someone's listening to.
That's kind of nice.
Possible.
Yeah. I don't hate that at all. I like that idea. I do like the idea of them using. I'm trying to pay real hard attention to everything that has been repeated, and yeah, the radio in the tower, the time grappler, just the fact that they reminded us, like, hey, he's still around. I'm like, oh, it's hammer time next week. Come on, like
It's hammer time.
I wanted to jump out of that tower and smash a stormtrooper.
Yes. Oh yeah, we still haven't seen Death Troopers.
Yeah, they'll be next week.
Gotta be next week. Got another super chat from Coleslaw. I've seen speculation that Marva faked her death, but I can't believe she'd do that to Cassian, parentheses, or even risk having him come back and get caught.
I don't think so. That seems like a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like B2 would figure that out, and he's got such a one-track mind. He would just be like, well, was he like,
Do you think he had enough power to lie to that many people? He was on
no,
his charging station for quite a while.
but I can't remember. Did he think she was coming back?
I think he was hopeful. That is
Yeah.
true. It's like,
Like he has such a one track,
Everyone's-
like truthful mind that, like, what if he was like, no, really, Mama Marva is coming back.
I have to wait for her. Yeah, like that would be kind of funny if everyone is just like, oh, poor B2, he's so delusional and sad, when he's really like, no, seriously, she's coming back.
No, because they had a body and they were gonna like
yeah.
cremate her and stuff. I don't know.
I think it's highly unlikely that she is still alive.
Yeah.
But again, this show does a good job of telling you things, but still leaving room for theories and stuff that I'm like, there have been very few theories coming out of this series that I'm like, no, people, come on. There's no way. Most of them I'm like, I can kind of see it.
Yeah. And I was going to scroll down because Gio Flores had the same idea. Hey guys, do you think that Marva's death is a fake out? I feel like there's something a bit off about her death off screen. Could be.
I do agree with you there that I was just like, really? Yeah, like I'm looking back at the scenes, and what the last time we saw her is when Bix was like, your breathing is weak and they have to bring medicine, and then the doctors came, but we didn't see it in episode 10. We just saw doctors go into the house.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the Daughters of Ferrix are
they hiding something?
I don't know, maybe they are like in on it, and bringing the doctor in was just a cover, and like maybe they knew they were being spied on, and they were loudly like, oh, she stopped taking her medicine, oh no. So I don't know.
And then that could, we're
This
getting
chat
into
is making me get into
we're getting into wild, unresponsible speculation, irresponsible even. But crap, what was I gonna say? I forgot. Oh, and so yeah, what if they've been planting all this information, saying loudly in the streets like she's not doing too well, and on purpose to get everyone to Ferrix to then just like take him out, start this
maybe
revolution.
like this is not some. I've been hearing this theory all day, and until right now, I've just been like, "There's no way."
I don't think so, but like
possible.
Because like, why would they want to lure everyone there and just kill them? Like that doesn't make sense.
I think she is dead. I think that she is mostly dead, but
Wait.
But I don't know. This is just what I just made this. It turned out pretty good. I need to make my hat smaller.
I can't move now.
There's something to it that I'm like, if it happens, I'm on board. But I think that she is probably actually dead. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe she left Cassian like a letter or a message. I still feel like she had more to say about his sister other than stop looking for her, but that's a whole other story point that we've kind of abandoned.
The sister thing, the fact that they brought that up in episode 7, like Marva reiterated, like, to the audience more than anything, that hey, your sister's out there and you should stop looking for her. But there's something about that fits a little better.
I still think that Cassian's sister is going to be working for the ISB or something. There's got to be one other woman there. And that would
That's
just be crazy.
like that's to go into another theory, the Clea theory. I'm like, I don't know, the longer we go on, the more I'm like, it's possible. It's not something that I think I want to happen, but it's kind of Star Warsy to have a secret sibling out there somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can get rid of these hats.
I don't like sitting off to the side like this.
I'll move it over to the right a little. I had to guess, and I think I did pretty good.
You did. Well done. We can get a solid screenshot from that.
And now we can do it anytime.
Yeah. Darth Nicholas, thanks so much for the super chat. Andor seriously needs to get himself a new girlfriend after his second one just walked out on him in Niamos. His second one?
Oh,
well,
I thought he meant Melshi. And but the one from the hotel. What if she were still there? What if, like, I'm imagining him walking back in. Yeah, where are my Pizzos, Cassian? You've been gone forever.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, I think well, to stick with Nicholas for a second. I mean, I think he has, I don't want to say he and Bix are an item. They were at one point for sure. But I don't think they are now. I do still think that he has enough care for her that once he gets to Ferrix, he's going to do something to get her out of that hotel.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're like, I don't know if they're childhood friends, but like they've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. And they hinted that they had a romantic past and stuff. I don't know that Cassian is like, I'm in love with Bix, but I do think he's like, oh, if someone's trying to hurt Bix, I'm not going to stand for that.
Yeah. And I won't stand for it either. Poor Bix.
I do. I kind of wish that was part of the scene. That, oh, did Cassian reveal his real name to Melshi? It's like, as Melshi's walking away, he's like, my name's not Keith. And he's like, what? Nothing. We'll talk later.
He's going around telling everybody this amazing story about how Keith Garga, was that his last name?
Yeah, Gergo. Keith Gergo.
Gergo. He's like, man, Keith Gergo was the key to the revolution of this prison outbreak, and he orchestrated it all, and he's a hero, blah, blah, blah. And Cassian's like, oh, man.
Oh, shoot.
Of course they're using my fake name.
Why did I say Keith? Chewbacca1138, thank you for the next super chat. B2 about made me cry. I hope he ends up with Cass, but I'll be okay as long as he's not alone. Are you excited for the eventual reunion with Melshi? All right, let's do one reunion at a time. I hope B2 stays with Cassian at the end of this season. I want them to be together.
Yeah.
Because that's he knows Cassian. Obviously, he knows Brasso too, but I think B2 would rather be with family.
I think so too. I'm just like, he can't go far from his charging station, so like, how's he gonna do going off on adventures with Cassian? I don't know. But yes, I do think the two of them should stick together.
They can bring the bed. They'll bring the little charging bed.
The little dog bed. Yeah.
Are we excited for the eventual reunion with Melshi? Yes. I was talking about that earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they had stuck together, but I like that Melshi has his own mission and we can just imagine that. And I like that maybe we'll get to see the reunion. Like, again, the fact that we're only getting 2 seasons and season 2 is 4 years. Like, I don't know that we're going to get to experience every little moment. So we might not see Cassian reunite with Melshi, but I think he'll be in season 2.
Yeah.
And it'll still be cool to see them together again.
I think so too. I'm just like, Melshi's gonna go off in his cool shirt and he's gonna tell everybody what happened, and he's gonna, hopefully he somehow figures out a way to like help the other prisoners on that planet, because he was like, we have to let people know about what's happening. Which I'm really glad that they brought that up and made it clear that like we didn't just escape and say like, oh, okay, we can put all that behind us now. No, he's like, people have to know what's going on. We have to change this.
Yeah. I'm really happy with just the fact that Melshi was in it at all. And like I said, I need to read this interview, but Duncan Powell talked about how he wasn't in Rogue One until the reshoots happened. And I'm like, man, what a wild story for this actor.
Yeah.
So cool.
All right. I'm going to go take my restroom break.
Okay.
Get some water.
Can you pull up Darth Nicholas's next super chat before you do?
I sure can.
So I don't have to scroll all the way up. Thank you.
I sure can.
Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat. Do you think the alien couple in Andor's hotel room on Niamos had a chance to listen to the manifesto? Probably not, because if they found the manifesto, I think they would have also found the money. And there probably would have been less money in that box. But I do like the idea that maybe the manifesto just started playing in the middle of the night, and they were sleeping through it all, and they just woke up radicalized. They're like, oh, I guess we're rebels now, and we hate the Empire. I kind of like that idea. But I think they probably would have taken the money as well, for the rebellion. And and Nicholas, thanks for another super chat. You didn't have to say this because I got it, but meant to say Nimic's manifesto in my last super chat. Gotcha. Thomas Adolf has the next one, and I am busy scrolling up to it to pull it up, but just an observation, Keith Gergo sounds a lot like Grief Karga to me. Obviously no in-universe connection, but still great. I had that exact same thought, that I was like, couldn't you have done something slightly different so that it would feel a little more distinct? But I completely agree with you that it sounds an awful lot like Grief Karga. Oh my god, there's so much scrolling to do here. By the time I get up there, Molly's going to be back. Boom. But yes, I agree. I honestly wonder if it was on purpose. I don't know why it would be, but it might be. And Justin Carter, thank you for the next super chat. Not sure the problem with Luthen's tactics. Compartmentalization of information is perfectly tactically sound. Otherwise, everyone's a liability. A lot of my stuff with Luthen is very much like, in the real world, I totally get it. But I think that they're trying to use Star Wars to say something that is not real. And I've said this before, but I think that Mon Mothma is kind of like the idealized what a leader should be, how the world should be. And Luthen is more like, this is what the world is, and probably the kind of person that we need for revolutions. But also seeing that, yeah, his tactics do breed paranoia. And I do think that in the context of Star Wars, that his tactics are flawed, and that these fictional people would work together better if he would let them. They could solve their problems together, instead of he is compartmentalizing everyone, like you say, and he's not letting anyone solve their problems, and he's not letting Mon Mothma fully communicate with him. She doesn't know that he has 80 million credits. So how does she know that he could help? That's really what I think about his tactics, is that sure, in the real world, they're probably sound, but for Star Wars and what they want to say, because Star Wars is a mythology morality tale. That's how it was described in 1977. A morality tale, which is like, this is how things should be, if only. But they can't be.
You got it out for Luthen.
Yeah. I mean, like, I like him as a character. And like I said, I think that there have been people like him throughout history. I think he is a necessary kind of person. But I just see all of the problems he is causing for the rebellion. And I think that's what they're trying to say, is that, like, he's a necessary evil kind of thing.
Agreed. Where are we? Bones McCoy?
Yeah.
Bones McCoy, thanks so much for the super chat. MILF Mothma's separated story reminds me of Mike from BCS. Better Call Saul. I don't think she'll meet Cassian until season 2. Mike and Saul's story didn't converge until later. That's a good comparison, because we just watched
in season 1, didn't it? I'm trying to remember back through.
I mean, it didn't converge as in Saul knew what he did, really. Like, he was just the teller at the parking lot, I think.
Now I'm trying to remember back to, yeah, we just watched that a couple months ago, and I'm already like, it all bled together because we binged through it pretty fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that Mon Mothma's storyline is like over on this other thread. I just feel bad for Mon Mothma that she seems to be like, I'm over here and everyone else is on Ferrix.
Yeah. Poor Mon.
But I don't mind it at all. Lynn Koyo has the next super chat. Thank you, Lynn. Can't wait for the finale next week. Me neither. Super excited to see what happens. Also, hope you liked the BD1 shirt, Alex. Do we need to check the P.O. box?
You don't have to worry about that. It's on its way.
Okay. All right.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, fine.
I got it for you as a gift.
I'll pretend I didn't hear / read any of that.
I'll get Alex real drunk tonight so that he doesn't remember any of this.
Oh, Lynn, it's okay.
No. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm excited. I'm sure I will love it. Because BD1 is my sweet special boy.
If I told Alex...
Right there next to B2, emo.
If I told Alex all of the t-shirts that I bought for either of us, he would be mad at me, so... But once he has them in his hands, he's like, oh, cute!
My dresser is so full. I need to figure something out. Get a new dresser, maybe. Pedro Tsanur, thank you for the next super chat. Go ahead, Molly.
Thanks, Pedro. Was the ship they used to escape in The Force Awakens in Jakku?
Yeah.
Oh, was it this? It wasn't the same ship, but it was the same model, the quad jumper.
Yeah, just a quad jumper. I don't think it was the same quad jumper, but same model.
We did talk about in our commentary today that, like, when it takes off, it's like it's really working to get up there.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it's the same ship, but I liked the I just am brain farting hard. I like that they brought it back. And I like that the God, every thought fell out of my head. The
Stop reading
Narkinians.
chat.
I like that the Narkinians just took them on a ride.
Yeah, they were
That's
good.
okay. I was going to bring up what we were talking about and how everyone kind of refers in Star Wars shows to the ship as their class names, and the fact that they call the Fondor the Fondor. It's a Fondor Hallcraft, a Fondor, but they call it the Fondor. And we were laughing last night with Zach Burkett, who's also in the Schmodown. We were laughing about how it's just like, we don't call our car the Hyundai.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of weird.
But the Elantra, we could call it, because not everyone knows that our car's actual name is Carlo Ren.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But we
something
don't
for
really
us.
call it that.
No.
We should more often, but
We should. Good old Carlo Ren. We did that because it's a black car with like a silver grill. So look like Kylo Ren's helmet.
yeah. Justin Carter has the next super chat. Thank you, Justin. We only rock the rebels over here. Scob the Empire.
Scob.
I like Scob as a new Star Wars swear.
Yeah. So that's like frack the Empire, I guess, along those same lines.
That's how I'm viewing it.
Yeah. Sweet Feet Pete, thanks for the super chat. Are you kidding me with these sad B2 emo scenes? I can't take it, my sad boy. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with.
I saw someone tweet like, I'm not going to be sad today. And then it's B2 in his charging station. Like, you sure about that?
I saw Joseph Scrimshaw tweeted a picture of his Cassian and B2 emo action figures standing next to each other on his desk with his weekly cocktail, like his setup for whenever he watches these episodes at midnight.
Yeah.
And he tweeted like, hope these two get to reunite in this episode. And I was like, they're not, and he's gonna be really sad.
Next week. Calixto, thank you for the next super chat. Love all the Mayan and Aztec artifacts in Luthen's gallery, especially the one framed in between Vel and Kreia, which is the Aztec calendar, which marks endings and beginnings of eras. Also, Alex, what are you drinking? I'll answer that part first. First, I had the Hop Raider IPA. That's become my new streaming drink. And then I ran down to get another one, and I couldn't find where they were. So
they're
I
still
got
in the box. I didn't have time to take them out of the box. In the little fridge.
Oh, I didn't find them, so I just grabbed this one because I didn't want to. I only had a minute, so I got a UFO Journey to Planet Pumpkin.
Still on the pumpkin beer train.
They're good. Yeah. But yeah, Hop Raider has been my go-to. I wanted to look because I have to find a tweet now. So tread water for me.
Is the one framed? Oh, so that big circular dish. I saw some people tweeting about that.
Yeah, someone tweeted it at us, and I was wondering if it was the same person. But
marks endings and beginnings of eras. Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
I saw someone tweet that to us, and then when we were rewatching it, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's like the Rancor double-headed serpent is another Mesoamerican artifact.
I wonder if that Rancor thing is supposed to be the Star Wars version of the snake circle.
Well, kind of. There is literally like a two-headed serpent statue that looks exactly like that Rancor thing.
Oh, okay.
It's an Aztec artifact, but they just swapped out the snake head for
The Rancor head.
Rancor heads.
Love it. I would love to be on a team of people that is in charge of like taking real artifacts and making them Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, it fits so well with what Luthen is doing and what his artifact shop is, that it's like we're selling all of these artifacts from subjugated places, planets, cultures, and that they're also doing it from actual real world places that were colonized.
Mm-hmm. Power Rangers Rock, thanks for the super chat. How did trivia go last night at the bar? You win? Alex.
We got second. And that's actually it's okay. Molly and Zach got a little salty about it. I was okay with it.
Okay, well, they did have a really hard Andor question, which we were not expecting. And it was
good. I liked it. I really liked it.
It was, what does PORD stand for? And you got points for every like letter that you got correct, and then you got an extra point if you got the whole thing correct or something like that. But like we weren't sure about the first two letters. You knew the last two. I figured out public.
No, we said prisoner. We got order resentencing directive. Yeah,
you got the last two. I got order, and we said prison instead of public.
Yeah. But I loved that question because for the most part they were really easy, and they were like, who built C-3PO? What planet was Bail Organa the senator of? Like, it was a lot of that, and then all of a sudden it was like, what does PORD stand for? It was like only the second or third question that wasn't about a movie, and it was just one of those where I was like, oh my god, we've been hearing this question, or we've been hearing about PORD since episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's a good question where I'm like, oh, we should know this, and we've definitely heard it, but we haven't studied it. So, yeah, I thought that was a great question. But the best part, even though we didn't win, the final question was, what are like the top 10 most valuable Funko Pops?
Oh, yeah.
And we got 5 of them, 5 out of 10. And one of them, I was like, Biggs Darklighter is one of them. I promise you. And we put it on there. And he was number 5 or so.
He was on there.
Because he was like a convention exclusive that you couldn't get except for like 2012 Comic-Con. So Biggs Darklighter was an answer. And I screamed about it in a good way. But we got second place. And I'm okay with that. We're going to another bar trivia tomorrow.
I was only mad about that one because there are just so many Funko Pops, and I have so many of them, but I don't know what they're worth.
And we take everything out of the box anyway, so
yeah,
we are bad collectors.
I'm trying to remember what some of them were, because I remember being like, oh, we have that one. We should sell it. Anyways, another super chat from Sweet Feet Pete. Did Bix look different to anyone else? She did look a little worse for wear in this episode.
That was, again, this was maybe the roughest episode altogether. Like, the prison stuff felt exciting. It was rough, but like you could feel the tension building and like it was getting ready to explode. A lot of the stuff in this episode, I still see how they're setting up pieces so that it's all going to fall apart. But like it was just rough stuff constantly, and the Bix thing was especially rough.
She looked like how I felt Sunday night after getting back from our wedding weekend away, being groomsmen and our friend's wedding, and I was just severely dehydrated and malnourished.
Yeah.
She looked like she could use a Pedialyte.
I promise you looked better than that.
Thank you.
Eric Bruno, thank you for the next super chat. This episode was all about daughters. I'm already excited about this comment.
I saw this
Lita?
come up live in the chat and I wanted to bring it up, but I lost it. So
I mean,
I'm
like,
excited for this.
yeah, it makes so much sense, and it's not something I considered. But yeah, Lita, Mon's daughter, Cyril. Cyril is Edie's daughter, sort of. Marva, daughter of Ferrix. Clea, daughter of fallen Jedi. Clea is a daughter of a fallen Jedi. Luthen confirmed? I don't think so.
Whoa. That's wild speculation there.
But I
Which
do.
bit?
I mean, yeah, the title of the episode was "Daughter of Ferrix," and so there were a lot of daughters in this episode. So I think that's a great point.
And you could say like Cyril being a daughter of Edie, because when parents have one child, it's not uncommon for them to bestow whatever they might have wanted from another gender child. So sure, Cyril can be a daughter.
Well, like I kind of get what you're getting at, but still, like Lita is the linchpin of what Mon Mothma has to decide. Daughter of Ferrix being Marva, like I do like that. There's probably something more there, but I'm a beer and a half in now, so I don't know if I can find it.
Yeah, Daughters of Ferrix, that was the name of the episode.
Yeah.
Daughters of Ferrix. Okay, so yeah, it's a multiple meaning. Like there is the group, the Daughters of Ferrix, and then there are the actual Daughters of Ferrix that exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Bix is one of them.
Yeah, it's something that they haven't fully explored yet. They've mentioned that group a time or two, but I wonder if we're going to keep going back to that.
It was like former presidents of that group, and Marva was one of them,
right?
Or something like that.
A former leader, something along those lines. And that, like, I mean, they have like a house where they could have put Marva up, but she didn't want to go. God, if we're not careful, we're going to go back to tinfoil hat theory of like the Daughters of Ferrix are.
They're behind all of it.
I'm kind of into it.
No.
Like now that we've talked more about it, I'm kind of into the idea that the Daughters of Ferrix are like, we faked Marva's death and we're going to destroy everything.
Mon Mothma is actually secretly a member of the Daughters of Ferrix.
Yeah. And that now she has to come in for a chapter meeting, and that's how she gets to Ferrix. It's all coming together.
Okay.
I need to go to the restroom.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I brought that super chat up while Jacob was here. Let me go find the next one. Another super chat here from Lesmond de Gaunt. Thank you so much. It's like the old Picard versus Kirk argument. The Mandalorian is my favorite Star Wars show. Andor is the best Star Wars show. Yeah, so this was from our conversation with Jacob, where he said he thought Andor was maybe his favorite Star Wars show of all the live action shows. And I've heard a lot of people say that, and a lot of people make this same clarification where it's like you have different flavors of Star Wars, and I've made the comparison to Star Wars being ice cream before, where it's like there are different flavors of ice cream, but it's all ice cream and it's all sugary and delicious. So that's what Star Wars is. But don't get too hung up seeing people talk about what the best Star Wars show is, especially like on Twitter, because it's like it's all subjective and we can all just enjoy Star Wars. It's like the line between Luthen and Saw where Luthen says, "Aren't you tired of fighting people who agree with you?" That's like Star Wars fandom to a T in a quote in Star Wars, which I loved that so much. But I think about that quote every time I see Star Wars fans arguing online about like which show is better.
Oh boy, what are we arguing about?
Nothing. I brought up the fact that people will argue online about which Star Wars show is better, and then I brought up the quote that Luthen tells Saw, like, aren't you tired of fighting people who agree with you? Like, that's Star
Right.
Wars fandom to
Yep.
a T.
For sure.
So it's all good.
We all like Star Wars, and we don't have to fight over the intricacies. I mean, that's just every group in history that gets too big ever. Like, you have different sects of every religion, and it's like you all believe basically the same thing, but you're arguing over like the nuance. But honestly, Lesmond, your statement, first of all, haven't seen Picard. I know a little bit about Star Trek, but I said something last night where I feel like Andor is similar to A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, where I think that The Empire Strikes Back is a superior movie, but A New Hope is my favorite, and it always will be.
Mhm.
And Andor, I do think is like, oh, it's just firing on all cylinders. I don't know how often I'm gonna rewatch it. I'm probably gonna rewatch episode 10 a lot, but like it's very heavy. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to throw on something light. And
Oh yeah. I mean, I think for us specifically, it's hard to rewatch any Star Wars show because we watch them so many times and we break them down and we pick them apart and all that stuff. But like when I think about the shows and the movies that I will constantly rewatch in my day-to-day life that aren't Star Wars, it's silly, like funny, lighthearted stuff like Parks and Recreation or Buffy and like those shows have serious moments, but for the most part they're a lot more lighthearted and there are Star Wars equivalents of that too.
well, first of all, I like laser bolts firing on all cylinders, pun, A plus. But Isaac Kuo, next you'll say the differences between the Last Jedi fans and the Last Jedi haters are petty. It depends on the reason. I mean, there's nuance to everything. And if someone is just like, I don't know, The Last Jedi didn't land for me emotionally or whatever, the same way some people are like, Andor is just not doing it for me. Like I'm not connecting with it, whatever. That's fine. But if you're talking about the haters, as in the people online that make money off of hating The Last Jedi, that's a different beast. That's not coming from any like genuine place of, I love Star Wars. It's more about like, here are people I hate and they don't belong in my Star Wars. That's not petty. That's a completely different thing.
You wouldn't say someone who goes out and actively seeks out people who love something to then bully them about it. You wouldn't call that petty. That's just being a bully.
And vice versa. Like if you, and I've seen people like the Last Jedi lovers or Andor lovers going out and being like, well, if you don't love this thing, then you're not a Star Wars fan. It's like, that's also not true.
Isaac did say in the chat, I was just being silly. A reference to Saw's petty.
Oh, okay. I wasn't trying to like.
You got us all rattled up.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to like jump on Isaac. I'm just
Just to
talking about
clarify.
Star Wars, talking about Star Wars can be such a minefield sometimes, and I do want to make it clear that like there's a difference between people being like, "Oh, we all love Star Wars," and people who are obviously not doing that and just grifting online.
Yeah. And they can make
But
a
you're all good,
lot of
Isaac.
money. There's a lot of money to be made there. So, whatever tickles your pickle.
I mean that's what Andor is dealing with. Like how do you fight this fight without losing your soul? How do you be a YouTuber without losing your soul? Oh.
Interesting.
Mm.
Mm.
Are we about to don't do that. We're going to be doing Yoda impressions for forever.
Oh no. Did you get
Pixie
another
teeth.
beer? I'll get you doing impressions.
No, I'm just going to try to stick to this second one. Pixie Teeth, thank you for the next super chat. Bix knew Marva was scoping out the hotel looking for an old tunnel. What if Bix escapes via that and everyone seeing how she was hurt kicks things off?
Oh.
I think that's
I mean,
on the right track.
I definitely think the tunnel is going to come into play. Maybe Marva just filled it with explosives. No, I'm kidding. She's not gonna blow up her hometown.
No. She might blow up the hotel though.
Yeah.
And that's where the tunnel goes. The tunnel was such a there's a joke in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the movie. Fantastic movie if you haven't seen it, with Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, written by Shane Black, directed by Shane Black. There's a point where a line happens and Robert Downey Jr.'s character like pauses the movie to be like, "Oh, that was a little on the nose, huh? Do you think that's going to come back later?" And that's exactly what I thought when Bix was like, "Yeah, Marva hurt herself trying to open up a floodgate that leads to a tunnel underneath the hotel." I was like, "That's coming back."
I need to rewatch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang because that's such a campy thing to do. And for some reason I don't remember much about that movie other than the fact that you love it.
I love that movie.
Don't they talk about Star Wars in that movie too? Empire, maybe?
I don't remember. I don't think so, but maybe. But yeah, phenomenal movie. That was like, I saw that movie, and then when Robert Downey Jr. got cast as Tony Stark, I was like, amazing.
It was because of this.
It was. That was his like big comeback. We don't have to go down that road. That's
Yeah.
You're gonna get me all riled up. Oh, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I'm gonna stop myself now.
Spiral, thanks so much for the super chat. Maybe season 2 Saw will use Borgullet on Luthen. And be then and only then will Luthen's true character and intentions be revealed. Ooh. I wonder what Luthen would do with a Borgullet.
I love the idea that like Borgullet comes about because of what Luthen has been doing. I think that's great. Like, I loved the scene. That scene did so much for Saw's character in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy about it. So if Luthen has a Borgullet unleashed on him, I think that would be pretty fitting. Yeah, but I also like the way this show has been slowly unveiling like Luthen's layers, where every few episodes he will share what I think is a nugget of truth about who he is. I don't think he's lying about that stuff. So yeah, it's very enjoyable. Joel Davis, thank you for the next super chat. In season 2, I'd love to see perhaps Mothma's alliance faction screw over or even betray Saw's partisans in a big way, and that's a major reason for the split outside of just differences in tactics.
I mean, I think Saw is just headed down a path to, I mean, he's already kind of an extremist, and especially in Mon Mothma's eyes, like, he's already there.
Yeah.
And Luthen says pretty much the same thing. Like, you're the one that no one knows what you're gonna do next. He's the wild card.
Yeah, I don't think Mothma. I don't even know if Mothma is going to be like in charge when Luthen is still around. I don't know how that swap is going to happen. Oh wait, we're talking about Saw. My bad. For Saw, I think that he is just too extreme. Like she has talked about or talks about in Rogue One, his militancy has caused problems for us. I think that's all it has to be. I think that the rebellion is going to come together as a group and Saw Gerrera will be a part of it, but we're probably going to see what those problems were. Like, if we're introducing Saw now, I think we should continue on with him in season 2. I've been kind of banging this drum since we knew Saw would be in this show that we should see some Rebel Rising style, like, terrible stuff from him. I think that we should show, like, hey, everyone, there's the wrong way to fight this fight. Like, that's how you lose your soul and pieces of you. And like Molly said, that's how you blow your feet off. Like,
something's gonna blow his feet off. I'm not ready for it.
I don't think Mothma needs to screw over Saw. I think Saw just needs to be who he is. And Mon Mothma will be like, we have to separate ourselves from you. And I like that there is still an argument to be made for Saw and Luthen to a degree that what we talked about a few weeks ago, that Gary Whitta, when he wrote that Rebels episode, and Saw's line of like, Senator, I hope it'll be some consolation to you that you played by the rules and that's why you lost. Or like, after you lose this war, I hope you'll take solace in the fact that you played by the rules. And it's like, yeah, there has to be a balance between breaking the rules, which the Clone Wars does say that breaking the law is okay sometimes if the law is unjust. So finding that balance, but Saw is way out of balance. So,
yeah. And he's like mentally, physically, all of it is just about to all converge.
yeah, I'm glad he's in this show that we can keep exploring it.
Yeah. Justin Carter, thanks for the next super chat. Noticed that Luthen and Mon Mothma represent the light and dark side with their clothes. Mon is the rebellion's ideals, while Luthen is the raw fighting spirit.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
It's something that I don't pay attention to enough.
Mon Mothma does. I mean, like this would have been an interesting thing to bring up with the costume designer, but on top of her outfits just being very traditionally Chandrilan and senatorial, she does wear a lot of white, and it's very like angelic looking.
And Luthen wears a lot of black.
Luthen just is like, I'm always getting dirty.
Or I guess Cyril calls it a gray-green.
Yeah. He's always getting dirty physically and metaphorically with his dealings, his dirty dealings. So he just wears a lot of dark colors.
I really liked Force Center's take on Luthen's final speech, and just when Lonnie Young gets to the bottom of that elevator and it opens up and he's just standing on that catwalk with a black cloak billowing in the wind. It's like, that looks like a Star Wars villain. It does. So I do think there's definitely something to the costume choices. It's something I need to like train my brain to pick up on more.
Well, yeah, like anytime there's a flowing black cloak, you automatically think Vader. Like that's just
or any Sith.
Yeah, that's an image in most people's minds when they think of Star Wars bad guy, is like dark black cloak. And yeah, and then he busts out that monologue and you're like, oh, this is so great, because he's visually, you're like, yeah, bad guy. but you hear all the things that he says and you're like, oh, I'm so confused now. I don't know how to feel about Luthen. Did he choose this life? Is he doing the right thing? It's like one of the most complex characters in Star Wars, I think. Like, at least definitely in live action stuff, but in a long time, Luthen is a really interesting, very complex character for Star Wars, and I'm all about it. I
He's
didn't really
awesome.
like him at first, but I'm getting more into him.
It's funny, like I'm liking him, quote unquote, less and less, like the person he is, but the character I like more and more.
Yeah. This was back when we were talking about Ezra from Boyd Gaming. Thank you for the super chat. You did all this for fruit? That was what was the fruit called?
Star Wars Rebels. I think it's called Fight or Flight, the episode. It's a season 1 episode where Zeb and Ezra are sent on an errand to get a Jogan fruit.
Yeah.
I want to see like a conversation on Yavin in season 4. Make it like a post-credit scene of because maybe Ezra will be revealed to the live action world by then, so we can just have a conversation between Cassian and Ezra, and he'd be like, so I was stuck in this prison. What were you doing at that time to start the rebellion? He was like, I stole some fruit, painted a TIE fighter.
Yeah. A pretty big deal.
Sweet Feet Pete, thank you for the next super chat. Am I the only one who thinks telecommunication devices in Star Wars is pretty sucky? It is, especially this episode did a lot of just screens.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done screens before in Star Wars and the movies and stuff, but it does, I don't know, I miss the holograms.
Yeah. It's kind of like how in Revenge of the Sith, that scene where we see the full color screen of Mas Amedda
It
pop
feels
up,
so out of place.
and you're like, I don't know. What is this? This looks weird. Because we're so used to seeing like, yeah, holograms and stuff. It's a little out of place, but we've seen it enough in this show to not be surprised by it. But it's very clear that the ISB members have fiber connection, and whatever level of Coruscant Cyril's mom lives is like dial-up
modem. Yeah, there's that. I mean, they've done screens since The Empire Strikes Back and Vader choking Ozzel over telecom. And then Phantom Menace had like the weird liquid screen thing the Trade Federation has. So like, I'm not anti-screen in Star Wars, but it does. There's a lot of screens in Andor that I'm just kind of like, huh. I miss the holograms.
I liked seeing the morning news.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like
just the like there was an incident on Aldhani, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Now to the weather. Like I was excited. I was expecting the Powerball numbers to pop up on the screen. Next time, for sure. We'll get Star Wars lottery.
Edie Karn for sure plays the Powerball.
Oh, yeah. You'd be a fool not to, says her. Anyways. Ryan Alexander, thanks so much for the next super chat. I swear there is a diagram of Dash Rendar's ship in the background near the end of the episode when the guy on Ferrix is talking to Cassian. Ooh.
It's possible. There's I can never say this, a Sheathipede shuttle. So Zan, the guy that Cassian calls, and Zan tells Cassian his mother is dead. He's like the freight guy who schedules deliveries, I guess.
I remember them talking about Canary earlier in the season when that came up. Was that the same guy?
What? Oh yeah, it is the same guy. Yeah.
Canary, whatever.
Yeah. in the background while he's talking to Cassian, like a bunch of ship schematics pop up. I
Yeah.
recognized the Separatist shuttle. I definitely saw a Corellian ship. I don't remember seeing a YT-2400, but I need to look back through for the old Easter egg video.
It's coming up. We'll have to do it soon. Nick Stark, thanks for the next super chat. Are you guys planning on doing any watch parties? I don't know what that is. I mean,
That's
I know
like
what
when-
it is, but what is it though?
What?
Is that like a new YouTube feature?
No, it's just kind of doing a live stream and syncing up when you watch. So everyone
Oh,
kind of starts at the same time, and then
like
you
a
watch
live,
the show together.
like live reaction.
Yeah, I guess. But probably not, because we're on the East Coast, and that would mean we'd have to stay up until 3 a.m. And if I stay up till 3 a.m., I'm going to be watching till 4 a.m. And then I'm going to just keep writing and working. And it makes more sense to wake up at like 6 a.m. and actually get a night's sleep
Mm-hmm.
and then work throughout the day. So I don't know, watch parties. I might consider it for like a special event here or there. Like I could maybe do it for the Mandalorian season premiere or something like that, but doing it every week would be rough.
There's absolutely no way we would survive staying up that late every night. Or even if we could, I guess, go to sleep super early and then get up at 3 o'clock, but
3,
no,
yeah.
there's no way that we could do that.
Jane Dalton, thank you for the next 2 super chats. The main Andor poster has X-Wings flying in the background, and the only X-Wings we have seen belong to Saw. Where do you think they'll show up?
I like the idea that Saw goes and helps Krieger anyways. That came up earlier in the stream.
I don't know. I look at posters and I don't specifically think that they have to mean something.
That's fair. Like they just wanted to put recognizable Star Wars ships on there.
Yeah, that are connected to the rebellion.
Yeah.
The poster also has like crashed Star Destroyers on it, and I don't think we've seen any of those yet. But Ferrix is kind of like a junkyard planet, so can get away with it. I mean, I would be happy to see Saw and the Partisans swoop in, save the day on Ferrix or its Spellhouse. I think those are the 2 most likely options.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really expecting X-Wings.
We might see them, but yeah,
I hope
think
so. You know, I love an X-Wing.
Yeah. I just I guess I wouldn't go too far into analyzing the posters because they're posters. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be though. Maybe we'll see. I mean, we're going to eventually see Yavin, I hope. So like it'd be cool to see a shot of Yavin and like X-Wings flying around in the background.
Yeah.
Jane's next super chat says, I feel one of the show's themes is how ideas and beliefs are passed between generations. Marva passes rebellion to Cassian, and Mon's daughter seems to be rebelling against her mother while making the same mistakes as her. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that watching it earlier. And just the idea that Mon lost her taste for all the traditions, and so she stepped away from them. And then Lita is rebelling by going more traditional. I like that. Like, I can resonate with that.
Yeah. I love seeing the generational trauma that happens in Star Wars, because I mean it happens in real life too, and
Mhm.
we're living in it right now, kind of. But I mean, I guess we're always living in generational trauma, but
It just
it does
happens. You can't
it
avoid it.
no, it does suck that specifically Mon Mothma's storyline with her daughter being so into the traditional stuff, and her just being like she feels like there's nothing she can say to like snap her out of it until maybe she's a little bit older. I don't know. It's rough.
But I really like slash hate that, yeah, Marva passed her beliefs on to Cassian, and then she's never going to know that she was successful.
Yeah.
Like that was the last thing he told Zan to tell her. Like, tell Marva she would be proud of me,
Yeah.
and she's not going to know unless she faked her death. But that's
oh my
probably
gosh. I just put together now that like that was Cassian's message to him. Like, tell Marva she would be proud of me.
I'm sure
She
she was
knows.
proud of him anyway.
She knows.
She knows.
She's
Darth
like Santa
Nicholas.
Claus.
Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat. Have any of you ever made cereal puffs / tricks or Chandrillan squigs before? There are even recipes for them on the Star Wars website. I want to make the squigs.
We talked about this. Yeah, I know Jennifer Landa, who is over on Force Center, she did make I think she did like a cereal bar version of the cereal puffs cereal, which was really, really cool. And then yeah, the Chandrillan squigs are like a little bit complicated to make, but we might try to make them because as part of our like drink series that we're doing.
Yeah, that's something we want to do, is start a cocktails of the Jedi. Just try to remake some of these things. And the squigs is something I want to do. And we saw the recipe on StarWars.com. We got to make it bubbly or something. I want to try to find a way. Like, this is going to be so hard, and I have no idea where to start. But I want to make it so that when you drop the squig in, it changes the color of the drink. I don't know how to do that, but
I
that
mean,
would be fun.
if we use Empress Gin, and depending on what the squiggly thing is made out of, it'll change the color.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
We'll figure it out. I think
Because
that'd
if
be pretty
you put lemon juice in Empress Gin, it changes the color. Like
Mm.
that purple gin that we've used before.
cool. So if we just freeze lemon juice, which I don't even know if that's possible, but
Well, the way that they make the squigs, what are they called? Squigs.
Mhm.
It's like a little jello thing that they make in a straw piece, and then they like push it out. So maybe if we mixed lemon juice in it, it would work. Or if we could roll the final product in lemon juice and then roll that in sugar, so it's all stuck together, and then put that in the drink. I'm a
We'll figure it out.
scientist.
You are a scientist.
I'm doing
I'm a
science right
doctor.
now.
I'm a drink doctor.
Ugh.
I just want to real quick, Molly, say, can we please keep definite, genuine leaks out of the chat? Ginger Greek says the rumor is that Lord Helmet is the main bad in Andor season 2. I don't want to be spoiled this heavily for
Who's Lord
for
Helmet?
Andor. The bad guy in Spaceballs.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I haven't seen Spaceballs in a long time. We should do a commentary to that.
That's a fun idea.
We should make that a Patreon goal.
I like that. Anyway, back to super chats. Thank you, Justin Carter, for the next one. If the Empire gets B2, we get the shotties out. Agreed.
What's that?
A shotgun?
Oh, okay.
I mean, if something bad happens to B2 Emo, I'm gonna go write a sternly worded letter to Tony Gilroy.
Oh yeah, there will be riots in the street for sure.
I will I will have never wanted to retcon a Star Wars story more. You keep him safe.
Yeah. Matthew Byron, thanks so much for the next 2 super chats. Who would you like to see cast as young Leia in season 2? It's happening, people. I'm putting it out there. Same girl.
She might be old enough by then.
She's aging just like everybody else. She's getting a little bit older, so I think.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Vivian Lyra Blair.
Yes, her. She was perfection as little Leia, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't want anyone else.
Chad agrees.
And then next, Matthew Byron sent in another super chat. Who wants to see Vel beat the shit out of Clea? And I can say that because it exists in Star Wars.
Because the show says it, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep the same level of rating as whatever show we're reviewing. We can't say that in the Bad Batch. When the Bad Batch is on, can't say shit anymore.
No.
Because Omega doesn't say sheet. But yeah, I was kind of like over Clea in that moment.
I was too. Like, she's just very intense, and I wish we knew more about her so that I could care about her more. But right now, I'm just like, why are you so mean?
Yeah, she's just mean and mysterious. What is her deal?
But like, out of all the people on this show that Vel could beat up, I don't really want it to be Clea. I want it to be Perrin.
Yeah.
For no reason. She just like socks him right in the jaw.
I'm sure it would be for a reason.
Yeah.
She's met him. That's reason enough. As far as I'm concerned.
Well, and then that little bit from him about how she better find a husband because she's getting old and decrepit or whatever. Like, he didn't say that, but that's what he meant.
You know.
I don't appreciate it.
No one did. It's never not relevant.
He just looks like he wants to be punched.
He's just begging to be punched.
Oh boy.
Garth McMurray, thank you for the next super chat. After the prison episodes, have you watched THX 1138? No, not after the prison episodes. I've seen it. I don't think Molly has.
No, I have not. That's another possible Patreon goal to watch that, because that is a George Lucas thing.
Yeah. I've also been wanting to watch American Graffiti for a while. I think I watched THX earlier this year. Was it last year? I can't remember. It was fairly recently. It's a weird movie.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we haven't had a ton of free time as of late to watch stuff like this. Usually our free time is spent watching old episodes of British Bake Off.
I'm laughing because it's true.
Or The Vow. I will make time to watch The Vow because that show is bonkers. Anyways.
But THX is like, it's an informative movie. I would not say that I like it. I'm not like dying to watch it again. But it's interesting just to get into George Lucas's mind and the kind of movies he likes, where I'm like, he's got a weird sense of taste. And I'm not judging it. I'm just like, man, the kinds of movies he likes are very surreal and strange. And I respect that. And I love, like, I think I watched THX because I wanted to do a video on the D Squad arc. And specifically when they're wandering in the desert, because George Lucas was like, yeah, it's THX with the droids. And so, like, that's his favorite episode of the Clone Wars because it's so weird. And so, like, I just like trying to get into George's head a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Garth, I see in the chat, the Andor prison used so much from THX, and I totally agree.
Well, it's interesting because someone asked or mentioned that in the roundtable discussion, and they said that wasn't the original plan. They just were
Yeah.
designing it to be like this stark white environment, and like that wasn't really the goal, but it ended up working out.
Yeah, if you watch the video that I think came out on Monday, and it wasn't the question I asked, but someone asked the production designer if they were trying to kind of recreate THX or call back to it. And they were like, not really. It just happened. And they were trying to develop like this very oppressive feeling prison. And it's like, oh, guess what? It matches George Lucas's very oppressive society from THX.
Mhm.
So it's like it's really neat how that worked out.
It's like poetry.
Poetry. So we're hitting the 3-hour mark. We're starting to get silly.
Oh boy. Another super chat from Darth Nicholas. Thank you. Every Halloween, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge needs to have a Dr. Gorst headphone horror experience to see who can out Bix in their trauma.
See who
my
can keep it on the most. That's a terrible idea, Darth Nicholas.
I'm just trying to imagine what's playing in that thing at the theme park. Is it Rick Ansley?
Rick Astley? No, I
Or
could listen to that for a
Astley.
while. I was thinking Baby Shark. That was the first thing that popped into my head.
Oh man, yeah, it could be anything.
I'm just imagining though someone in like a haunted house and like, hello, here are your headphones, and they describe the sound you're about to hear, and then you put it on, and it's just it's you got Rickrolled or something. It'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. Hilarious. Oh my god, I love this username. About
I love the
600
profile
Ewoks.
picture too.
Yeah, just about 600 Ewoks. Thank you so much for the next super chat. Anyone else afraid that the possible revolution on Ferrix will end badly? He mentions that Jen isn't the only one who has lost everything. Oh God. I mean, so he's lost Marva. He might. Do you think he's gonna lose Bix? Do you think she'll die?
No, I hope not.
He's not
No.
losing B2 because I won't have it.
No one will.
But he already has lost his whole original family and tribe from Canary.
I'm expecting some death. I don't know why this time around I'm not expecting like a bloodbath like from Aldani. I don't know. I'm ready for some tragedy, but I don't think he's gonna lose everything. I hope.
Maybe he's just saying that because he heard Luthen say it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that
it'll be interesting to revisit all those lines in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Just to see how they fit in context.
He already has lost a lot, so you could make it work in that way, but I think we'll just have to wait and see. I don't want it to end on a bad note for the end of season 1, because like I feel like Mon Mothma's stuff is just going to be depressing, and we need a win for Ferrix.
I think we're going to end on hope. That's just, even at its bleakest, Revenge of the Sith style storytelling, it ends on hope. So that's all I'm hoping for, even if a lot of people go down.
We got
I
Marva's
feel good at the end.
We got Marva's line a bunch in all the trailers and TV spots, like that's the sound of a reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
And we heard that a lot for a reason, I think. I think we're going to see this Ferrix reckoning in the finale, and hopefully it doesn't end too badly.
Like, just seeing Amaranth ask, how could Ferrix possibly win? I don't think that Ferrix has to win against the entire Empire. I think they just have to successfully rise up against the little contingent that's there. Like, we don't know how many Imperials are in the city or whatever, but I don't think it's as many people as there are citizens. I think they could win.
Yeah.
I hope. I don't know. I just want to feel good at the end. I want to feel like I did at the end of episode 10, uplifted, not like the end of this episode where I'm just like, oh.
Somehow Kino shows up on Ferrix and he's just whooping ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Mike Levins has the next super chat and sent the super chat before he could get his message in, so I found the message. So do you think that the prison Andor was in had no bars because he indicated to Chirrut that he'd never been in a cage?
Maybe. Like that is another one of those lines in Andor. I think Chirrut says, we've been in worse cages than this, and Cassian says it's a new experience for me, or something like that. We've also seen Cassian straight up lie to Luthen. Like that's something that I think Star Wars fans, including me, have a hard time wrapping their heads around, is that sometimes the characters lie or they don't say exactly the truth because they're not spouting out Wikipedia articles. They're just being human beings. So in Cassian's mind, he has been in this fight since he was 6 years old, even if he was kind of in and out of it. Like, but in that heated moment, he's saying that to Jyn. And in this moment, he's like, I don't know exactly what he means when he's like, oh, it's a new experience for me. I don't know why he would lie about it, but whatever.
I mean, we know he's been in prison before.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume those prisons had bars.
Right.
Of some kind. So I think him saying this to Chirrut was a way of saying, like, I can't be caged at this point
Sure.
in my life. Like, I won't be caged. I'll find a way. Like, I don't know.
It's something that Cassian said it, and it's right to him, and that's fine. It's enough. Like, or he could just straight up be lying to Chirrut because he lies to many people in this series. That's all it has to be.
Maybe he just likes looking tough.
Mm-hmm. I've never been locked up. Not
he
me.
He wants to look tough for the blind guy.
Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat. I don't know if it's just me, but the Death Troopers and Rebels reminded me of the Purge Troopers in Kenobi in their nerfy state. I have a good feeling Andor's Death Troopers will be shown in their Rogue One and Mando state. I don't even think they did a whole lot in Mando.
No.
They felt nerfy to me in Mando, but with the way they've treated TIE fighters, I do think that they're going to bring out the Death Troopers as like, we mean business now.
I hope so. I mean, and I don't mind that Rebels did that with the Death Troopers because it's an animated show for kids. Like, they can't come in and just annihilate everyone.
Yeah, they're not going to murder everybody.
And
but
it's
it just
harder,
felt like
it's harder to have them not have any speaking lines. Like, that was the thing that bothered me, was that they were just speaking normally, where in Rogue One we hear the Death Troopers speaking in this code that made them even more mysterious. But
yeah,
ultimately, like, it's an animated kids show. They had to make them a little goofy.
I don't know. Like, at that point, I'm just like, maybe don't bring them in. One episode could have been okay. Like when the Rebels were stealing a giant kyber crystal, I was like, it makes sense for the Death Troopers to be there because that was involving the Death Star. It made sense for them to be around Grand Admiral Thrawn because he's an important person, but sometimes they were just there and then they didn't do anything and they felt nerfed. So, but for Andor, I have high hopes for those two Death Troopers we've seen,
especially if they're with Dedra.
Yeah.
Making this up as I go, David Milano, thank you for the next super chat. Happy almost life day. Yeah,
We're 3 hours away.
I completely forgot that tomorrow was life day until earlier today when I was seeing some posts about it. But I think our plan is to do a little life day live stream tomorrow earlier than normal because we have plans tomorrow night. But normally we would do a live stream on Thursdays, but I think tomorrow maybe like 5 p.m. Eastern. Is that what we decided on?
I don't know. We got to figure out what we're doing still.
I mean, we can build Legos.
Okay.
Little life day stream.
Sweet Feet Pete, thank you for the next super chat. Well, since you talked about the wedding, y'all looked crisp as F in those suits. Almost did it. Especially Molly. Sorry, Alex. No, that's okay.
Thank you. I very much enjoyed wearing a suit, as per all the pictures that I took, showing it off obnoxiously. But yeah, it was a good time. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bakey, thank you for the next super chat. Clearly in season 2, Cassian will access the world between worlds and get to talk to Marva before she dies.
There's always got to be one.
Always one?
There's always someone that's got to bring in the world between worlds. I think Andor is the last place the world between worlds will ever be brought up.
Well, we'll see.
Unfortunately.
What if it just gets wackier and wackier in season 2?
It might. I think it kind of will in a sense. I don't think we're going to get world between worlds Mortis wacky, but maybe.
Maybe not.
Jane Dalton, thank you for the next super chat. There needs to be a B2 emo at Celebration that everyone can give a hug to cheer him up. Well, even if there's not an official one, Jane was the one that was showing us someone is building one. A droid builder is working on a B2 emo. So maybe they'll bring their B2 emo to Celebration or maybe Dragon Con and we can hug him there.
Oh, if I see a B2 emo, I'm hugging it.
Yeah, you can't stop me. Lucasfilm.
Although I will say we did see one at the premiere and I was afraid to go touch it because I didn't want to get kicked out.
I mean, we also didn't know. We didn't know anything about him.
That's true. Yeah, we didn't know how precious he was.
We were just like, yep, there's that droid that we know nothing about. And then once we were inside, we were like, oh no, we should have hugged him when we had the chance.
I mean, we still know he was cute, but like, yeah, we didn't know to what extent. Sweet Feet Pete with another super chat. Thank you. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang explained?
Not much to explain about it, but I love that movie. It's fantastic. Just go see it. That's every video on the channel. You should watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's awesome.
That's the sign off. Go watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
That's the whole video. Jordan Shaw, thank you for the next super chat. There's been rumors Luthen is a Sith. Where? Does the ship having red lightsabers... Man, I'm so glad I don't keep up with some rumors.
There's been rumors, Alex.
Does the ship having red lightsabers things mean anything toward that point? Secret Jedi, I kind of buy. Secret Sith, I don't at all. And I don't think that those things are necessarily lightsabers. I do kind of think his ship is powered by Kyber. Maybe. We've talked about that. Don't give me that.
I know, but like that feels like a wild speculation.
Yeah, but like that doesn't mean that those are lightsabers and that Luthen bled those crystals or anything. Like I just think they're lasers. I don't think that they are lightsabers coming out of his ship.
What makes you think his ship is powered by Kyber? And also, what other ships have been powered by Kyber?
Oh, I don't know. It was just a theory I threw out in episode 4 because he clearly has some knowledge of Kyber, but
I didn't know if that was a thing that had already existed in Legends, ships powered by kyber crystals.
Just kind of like along the same lines of the Death Star, I guess. But Cassian made a big to do about like, I've never seen a Fondor Hallcraft do what your ship just did. And all that might have been was like, oh, there's more to this ship than meets the eye. Doesn't have to mean anything more than that. But no, I don't think Luthen is a Sith. I don't think the lasers are necessarily lightsabers. They're obviously similar, but I don't know. A
I mean,
Sith seems like too far.
So what were the First Order axe, the laser axe?
Yeah.
It's the same technology as that. That's not
Those
lightsaber
are like,
technology.
yeah, I mean, those are like blue
But still,
things.
like it's a laser that cuts things.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
not a lightsaber.
Agreed.
Watch us be completely wrong.
Maybe. I don't know.
And he's a secret Sith. Darth Nicholas with another super chat. Thank you so much. Something tells me that Cyril will screw up again and come crawling back to his mom's basement after the finale. Oh no. Also, it was great running into you guys on Hello stream the other night. Oh yeah, I forgot you did that.
I'm trying to remember what we were doing. Like, we came home from something and I was like, oh, Hello Greedo's streaming. I'll pop in for a little bit. I don't think Cyril's going back to his. I think Cyril's either going to be part of the Empire or dead at
He's
the
like,
end of season 1.
This is it. Like, he steals some credits from his mom and then leaves, and like, yeah, he's like, whatever happens, I'm not coming back here. I can't handle it anymore.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah. Poor guy. Babbles the Clown, thanks for the next super chat. Howdy. I have a leg of dog tattoos, and this episode locked in B2 emo as a part of it making him my Star Wars tattoo as well. For he is the goodest boy. Aww.
He really is.
A leg.
B2 is the best. And BD1, like BD1 and B2 are kind of competing. They're both like little dogs, because BD1 was supposed to be modeled after a dog too, but B2's like a Great Dane, I guess, compared to BD1's Beagle or Chihuahua or something. Just a much smaller breed.
Yeah.
But they're both very good boys.
The goodest boys.
But I think he is a worthy addition to a do you call a leg? It's not a sleeve, right? Do you call it a pant? Because a full arm of tattoos is a sleeve.
And you call a leg of a pant, like if you call one side of your pants a leg, so that makes sense.
I guess. But I mean, you're right.
Right.
It's just weird that it doesn't have a name like sleeve, and so you don't call the arm of your shirt an arm.
Okay, leg sleeve is a common term, or legging. Yeah, okay.
A legging, okay. Thank you, Babbles.
Legging.
Ice has the next super chat. Thank you, Ice. Fantastic episode and really hit hard. Heartbroken about Marva. Knew it was coming. Didn't think it would be like that. Same. Was hoping Fiona Shaw would get one last hurrah. B2, protect him at all costs. That also is something that I'm like, really? That's how Fiona Shaw exits this show? I don't know. Like, I think there's more to happen. I don't know how or what, but
I don't know either. Like, I'm bummed that she went out off screen, but she wasn't doing too hot.
It's weird. Her last scene was of her coughing, and like, it's sad, but
it is really sad. And like, I don't know, after seeing Olaf go out like he did, I don't know that they wanted to show audiences Marva going out the way that she might have gone out. So they were like, you can kill one old person struggling on screen.
And I mean, I like this. I think we were supposed to feel like Cassian to just be
Yeah.
like, wait, what? I think that's what they were going for and they achieved it, but it leaves you with that sense of like, really?
Yeah. I might save Eric's for last, just so we can speculate a little bit about the finale in season 2.
Okay.
Speaking of the finale, Gio Flores says, "I'm so pumped for the finale."
Me
Yes,
too.
we'll do a little bit of speculation once we catch up with the super chats here in a bit.
Anthony Ancona, thank you for the next one. Do you think the Empire will revive the prison on Narkina 5 with major upgrades? I'm not expecting to go back to Narkina 5.
No. And I hope
think-
not, because
yeah.
that would be really depressing.
I think / hope we're done with Narkina 5. I loved that arc. I don't need to go back there.
Yeah. Garth McMurray, thanks for another super chat. "I'm buying into the Daughters of Ferrix faking Marva's death. It's a trap for the various parties who want to kill or capture Cassian. They'll turn the tables on them with lots of bombs." It's quite possible.
The longer we've been going, I don't know if I'm just delirious from being up for too long or what, but the more we've talked about it, the more I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
We got our hats on. Yeah. It's certainly possible. And you know what? If that turns out to be true and that happens, we'll have lots to say on the next live stream about it.
I mean, yeah, that would kind of make sense of like everything we're talking about with really that's how Fiona Shaw exits this series. It's like, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. Ice, thanks for another super chat. "I won't lie, when those aliens appeared, I actually said, oh, they actually remembered that it's Star Wars and it has aliens. I've really enjoyed Andor, but I have struggled a lot with it at certain aspects." I think that's fair. Like, the pulpiness of Star Wars has been a little bit lacking, but yeah, when those two alien guys showed up, I was super excited.
I was too. I really liked them. My-zy my. There's two of them.
Yeah.
Like, I loved the way he talked. It felt very just, yeah, goofy and silly and fun. But I don't know. To me, it's just a different flavor of Star Wars. Like Molly talks about the ice cream analogy. This is just a little bit different, and I'm okay with it because I know Mandalorian is coming, and that is very much like the pulpy, serialized. Oh, how's the Mandalorian going to get out of this bucket of syrup? Like that. That's what the Mandalorian does, and Andor does something different. And I like them both for their differences.
Yeah.
Caleb Diaz, thank you for the next one. Think Andor is still somehow a separatist? I don't know, maybe. I don't know what happened on Kanari. Like, I'm willing to accept whatever was written in the reference book and the Rogue One visual guide as propaganda or fake stories or whatever. The same way that Fest is not his real homeworld anymore. To me, I accept all of that as just a fake story.
Yeah. I don't know how Cassian would have time to be anything specific right now. He's just like constantly on the run.
Well, like now there are separatists, still separatist holdouts, but I think they're asking more as a child. Was he? Because that's what the reference book said, but
yeah. I mean, he might have been raised that way. We don't know.
We don't know what Kanari was, how that all went down, what happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Marva didn't seem like she was a fan of the Republic, so they may have joined the separatists. But then again, Clem didn't seem all that political.
Mm-hmm.
He was just kind of like, let's put our heads down.
Yep. Ice with an excuse me, another super chat. There have been times when I'd forget it was Star Wars which is more fantasy to me versus generic sci-fi. I think there are several valid complaints I don't think should be dismissed just because the series has been good and different.
And right below that, they said, I hope that made sense. It's difficult to describe.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I think we said the same thing watching the first episodes, that we would forget it was Star Wars, and then there'd be a shot of a ship in hyperspace, and we'd be like, oh yeah, we can get off of Ferrix and go to other planets and stuff. And I kind of forgot. Like,
Mhm.
I get that. I
It felt
honestly
like
have
go ahead.
I have uh nothing against anyone who says like, oh, Andor just doesn't feel like Star Wars for me. They're having a hard time getting into it. Like, I understand why.
Mhm.
I disagree. Like, I am getting into it just fine, but I understand people who say that, and that's okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
I was going to say it feels like sci-fi in the way that like this could be like 1,000 years in the future of our present day life. It feels kind of like that at times where, yeah, some parts of it don't necessarily feel like Star Wars. It just feels futuristic.
Hmm.
But then there
Yeah.
are these little reminders that, yes, it is Star Wars. And like so many of the main themes line up with other Star Wars themes. And
Yeah.
that's how we stay grounded in the fact that it's Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like, thematically, it's very Star Wars. And I think if you jump back to the 90s, there were people who said that the prequels just didn't feel like Star Wars to them. It had a different feel.
Mhm.
To me, as a 12-year-old, I was like, the lightsabers are still here. I don't know what you're talking about.
I see
But
Jedi.
yeah. But anytime something new is introduced to Star Wars, some people will be like, this just doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. Again, that's okay. But it's just that it's a new thing for Star Wars, and now it is Star Wars. So
Mhm.
it'll it'll feel like Star Wars in the future, if that makes sense.
Hopefully, yeah. It'll just be Star Wars. It won't have to feel like it.
Like season 2 of Andor is going to be like, yeah, that feels like Andor's version of Star Wars again.
Yeah, so like when season 2 comes out, it'll be like, are you ready for season 2 of Andor? It won't be like, hey, did you hear about this show called Andor? It's a Star Wars show about this character. And like you have to explain it to people, but hopefully by the time season 2 comes along, it'll just be season 2 of Andor is coming and people
Right.
will just get it. Because by then it'll have won a bunch of Emmys and like been syndicated on TBS or something.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page. Like, nothing you're saying is bad, and you shouldn't feel bad about it. Like, you still like the show, that's awesome. And it's just kind of a mixed bag for you. That's fine. Like, not everyone's going to like everything equally, so it's okay.
Dave McHugh, thanks for the next super chat. We will likely see Fiona flashbacks in the future.
I could see that because there are still some kind of questions I have about Cassian's past.
Mhm.
So I think we could revisit Marva a little bit.
It is interesting that we got that one flashback scene of her and her husband and B2 and never got any more. So,
Well, it was that and how Clem died
yeah.
in episode 7.
But
So it's
Marva
like we've
wasn't
had
in
2
that.
flashbacks. I think we could see another one.
Mhm. That's likely, I think.
Darth Nicholas has one more super chat from them. Thank you. Do you think Luthen has had a chance to see what messages are encrypted within the Jedi and Sith holocrons in his shop? Well, it depends if he is Force sensitive or not, because you need to use the Force to open them.
Yeah.
So if he's a secret Jedi or a secret Sith.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he knows. He seems to know a lot about the artifacts in his shop, but might mostly be surface level knowledge. So even if he knew what a Jedi or Sith holocron is and like how to use it, and the fact that you have to use the Force to open it, and they contain messages, all his alter ego cares about with the shop in mind is like screwing people over, making money, like putting on a show.
Yeah. I don't think that he's opened them. I don't think he's a secret Jedi or Sith. I'm open to it if that's the case, but I think that he just has them because, like all of the other items in his shop, it's a symbol of a destroyed culture.
Or you could argue that all life is force sensitive, right? The force
Yeah.
flows through all living things. So if that holocron really wanted to be opened by Luthen, the Force would make it so.
I think he needs to know how to open it.
I think I'm right. Moving on.
Okay.
I'm I'm just making stuff up now.
Well, then you are right.
Laser bolt. Sorry, it's getting to be that time.
Uh-huh.
Laserbolt, thank you so much for the super chat. Maybe Dedra gets demoted because she reports that Krieger is Axis and she is forced to work with Cyril. Ooh.
Oh man.
Yikes.
That would be awful. I don't think I want to see her take a step backward. I don't want to see either of them take a step backwards.
Yeah, I don't want to see her get demoted. I think that would be like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. I don't know, like that doesn't seem likely, but I am really curious to see if her and Cyril end up having to work together moving forward.
That I could see. Like I see more likely he gets into the ISB as like another one of her aides or something.
Yeah.
That I could see.
Jane Dalton with another super chat. Do you think that the Lonnie storyline is set up for season 2, or will he be important next week?
I think more season 2, just because there's so much to get through on Ferrix that I don't know. Like Lonnie, we just learned about Lonnie in episode 10. I'd rather deal with the characters that we've known a lot more about this whole time. So I think we follow up with him in season 2.
I mean, I could see him just getting killed, but hopefully not after we found out that he's like a new dad and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a death sentence. It might as well be. Like in most war stories where they're like, oh, it's basically like saying he's 2 days from retirement.
Yeah.
I think he spelled his own death sentence there.
I could see him dying.
I just don't know I don't know how. Like, I don't know what the story is how the story will involve him, but that just means I don't know. It could.
Yeah. Ice, thanks for the next super chat. I usually disagree with Saw's tactics, but I was fully on board with him calling out Luthen. Forrest Whitaker completely nailed it. Let's call it war.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're supposed to agree with Saw's tactics, but I like that Luthen makes Saw go like, dude, what the hell? Like, even Luthen is extreme for Saw. But yeah, I loved that scene, and I liked having that bridge between kind of Bad Batch Saw to Rogue One Saw.
And then another one here. Do you think Vel can bail Mon out, or will she still feel like she needs to take that deal? Lita, being so pro-customs, must feel very conflicting for her.
My guess is that Vel will bail Mon out because she knows what the stakes are. And she has the money. If she has access to the Aldani money, she can do it. So I'm hoping that Vel bails her out and she
Mhm.
doesn't have to go through with the marriage proposal thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see that happening, but maybe. I just
We'll see.
yeah. I'm like so in the dark, I feel like, for what's going to happen next, which brings us to our last super chat. Well, this one's specifically about Luthen, but does Luthen make it to season 2 from Eric? And then just general thoughts for the finale and season 2 coming up. Does Luthen make it?
I think he makes it. He might get captured, but I think he will survive.
This is another like really hard one for me because a couple episodes ago I was like, yeah, I think Luthen makes it. Now I'm like, maybe he dies. Maybe somehow Cassian gets his super cool ship. Because Cassian needs a ship.
I just want Stellan to stay. I like having him. I want to keep him going. I don't think he survives the whole series, but I think he will make it to season 2.
I hope so.
And then we have one more super chat here from Ice. Thank you again. Starting to feel like Cassian should just stay away from beaches. Every time he goes to a beach, something bad happens. He needs to find a cabin in the woods and get lost in. Thanks for a great stream. I did love that final little parallel there.
Yeah. Oh, Cassian and beaches.
That was a great shot. But we've been going for 3.5 hours and we need to eat and just decompress. But thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Thank you for the super chats, for all of the support this entire season. We've got one more episode to go. Next week, we will be doing our after show with our friends Nerdy Nightly. If you want to go ahead and check them out, you can, but they'll be with us next week. And that's going to be it. I'm going to go get some food.
Let's go cook our salmon.
Let's go cook some salmon. Thank you,
Thanks
everyone.
so much, everyone.
Have a great night.
Happy
And may
Life
the Force
Day.
be with you, and happy almost Life Day.